Hello and welcome to DCP episode number 136. We have it's a special episode this week because there's a lot of things to talk to and a few changes. First off, yes.
We finally ate Briar.
First off, yes, Briar has been
again for the second time.
He was delicious. We will remember him in his tasty treats.
Chef Swain.
He chopped them up perfectly.
For the recipe.
Right? Yeah. Also, Holt has officially gone back to managing Hot Topic. Amazing, right? Yes. Yeah.
Officially back at Hot Topic.
Back at Hot Topic. In all seriousness, Holtz has taken a position over at Benji, doing some awesome things that he might be responsible for this week's TWAB, actually.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think a few days and look what he does.
Yeah. Holtz back at it again. So
back at it again with those crispy TWABs.
Yes, exactly. So we do want to congratulate Holtz and wish him the best of luck on those endeavors that he's doing. Yay. He'll be doing that for a while. We don't want.
He has a 6-month contract.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's definitely hoping that it would
on his Twitter.
Nice.
Turn long-term, permanent. I think is always the goal when you get these kind of things. But he is doing gameplay testing basically. Yep. So he's testing all the things.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I just want to say, we really don't know anything about what he's up to. But I was like, 6 months, huh?
6
just
months.
enough time to test a September release and a little bit after, maybe. I just made that up, but maybe he's working on that next thing we're wondering about. But we really don't know.
Yeah. But we wish him the absolute best. So that is so that's what's happening. We got Watts and we got Fran tonight. And like I said, Briar is he's got some personal stuff that he's taking care of, so he can't make it tonight. Or actually, like he said, he was eating. And we got Benji on the show.
Hello.
Hey, Benji.
Hey. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. I'm going to kick it right over to Fran.
Thank you. So, yeah, I found out. So you're Benji on Twitter, and I'll have you tell people exactly what that is. But you go, I guess, more by Benj, right?
Yeah, that's the most common one, yeah.
Yeah. So Benj is arguably one of the best Gambit Prime players in the world, or so I've been told, and will be very
tier.
soon competing in the Belong Arena's Gambit Prime Arena Cup Finals, which some of you may know. This is one of the first things that Bungie has really collaborated with in terms of a tournament. That's a national thing. That is not something that they just did themselves. So welcome, Benj. Maybe for starters, where do people follow you? Is Twitter the main place to find you, or?
Yeah, I'd say Twitter's your best bet at the minute. My Twitter's Benji with 3 J's, 2 Y's. That's where I post most a lot of clips on Twitter, a lot of Gambit clips on Twitter. And then I do stream, although I haven't for a while because of uni. But I do plan on streaming again, like beginning of June time.
Nice.
My stream is the same again, Benji with 3 J's and 2 Y's. So yeah, that's the main 2 places, I'd say.
Awesome. And so did I get that right? You're going to the finals, and how did you get involved in this? Like, how does that even happen? You know, if I'm a Gambit player, some people may know Anubis. We've been talking with him. He's part of Belong and Get Wrecked. And do we need to know him to get in, or is it like you're just that good that they reached out to you?
Nah, so I know Anubis personally very well and have done for like 3-4 years now, because he's always ran the UK events, which is like his own thing. That's what Get Wrecked is. And then through that, he got a job at Belong as the marketing lead. So then he's basically collaborated with them to get this tournament going. And basically, it's open to everyone within the UK. That's basically the only like restriction, because you have to be able to travel to the specific arenas based in the UK to play. So it wasn't like he reached out to me specifically because I was like known to be good at Gambit or anything. Anyone can play. It's advertised as a social tournament. With Bungie supporting it, they were very adamant that they wanted it to be a social tournament. They didn't want it to be seen as like a sweaty, competitive kind of thing.
Right.
It's for everyone. So
still capture the fun. And where is it taking place again?
So
the city.
so it's the past few weeks. So it's been running for, I think we're in the 4th week now, and it's been in all the different arenas across the UK. So there's like 21, 22 arenas across the UK.
Oh, wow.
So depending on where you are based and what's nearest to you, that's where you'd play. You'd drive to that one and you'd play there, and then you'd play people from other arenas. And then the final, which is 2 days, is based in Nottingham. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So yeah, I have a bunch more questions, and we all probably do for you. Let me read this quote that Anubis provided from Belong. It says, "The past few weeks have represented a huge milestone for the Destiny community, with Bungie supporting the first ever national LAN tournament. It's been incredible to see new community members emerging through Gambit, and Benji is a prime example of how hard work and being active in the community can lead to some amazing opportunities. This week's stream is going to be a real celebration of the changes in support we've seen from Bungie as of late, and we can't wait to hopefully see Benji on the big screen at our arena in Nottingham as he battles it out for the first ever Belong Gambit Prime Arena Cup. As a note, free tickets are still available if you'd like to come and join them for the day and meet some of your favorite content creators. Also, Fallout Plays, who's no stranger to the show, is going to be shoutcasting there. So it should be pretty exciting. So just to kick into what it is you do that's so special, maybe I'd understood that you invade, and like you're like one of the best invaders. Is that pretty much you when you play? That's all you do in Gambit Prime?
Yeah, pretty much. I played
you're the designated invader.
Yeah, exactly. So like pre-Prime, when it was just normal Gambit, even though there wasn't the set roles, I was always the invader, and then kind of got a bit of a reputation from doing that, and then carried that over into Prime, where I literally haven't ever played without just running the invader armor. It's basically just
You
all
always
I do
now.
Yeah,
so the set works as intended.
yeah, the set works very well.
How long have you been? Oh, go
I'd
ahead,
just be really interested to know, when you go into a game of Prime or regular Gambit, what does a general game look like for you with being the invader? From
It
beginning to end.
depends. I suppose it depends if I'm either playing in a team or if I'm playing solo. So if I'm playing in a team, it can be very much after the first 25. It's kind of I will basically just be invading, because by the time I've invaded once, my team's already taken out all the ads. So I come back from my invade, the portal's open again, I go over again. So I basically just invade up until the primeval phase, and then kill the primeval with my team. Whereas if I'm playing solo, it's like I'm kind of juggling, doing everything. So I'm having to like kill the blockers and then kill the ads, and then I'll invade, or sometimes someone will steal the portal off me, which is always fun. And then, so yeah, it's just it's pretty chill if I'm in a team, because I don't really have to do a lot. If I'm playing solo, I get I have to like deal with all the blockers and stuff.
Feel like you're doing more carrying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
He didn't want to say it.
Like, these blueberries aren't doing their job.
That would be me.
Causing
the other
problems.
So what does a loadout look like for you? It sounds like, okay, you use the full invader set, like armor wise. Are you mixing in an exotic piece with that on the armor side?
So
and what do you play as and so
on? Basically I run, which is quite unusual, Blade Barrage, and then my exotic piece is the Ophidia chest piece, which is the one that gives you the double knives. Yeah, and the reason I run that is so I always say that, because like a lot of people, when they're the designated invader, they run a like strictly PvP loadout to invade as effectively as they can. But I've always tried to kind of create like a hybrid build almost between kind of PvP and PvE, so I can still contribute to the PvE side of things. So the reason I run the Ophidia specifically is to get the double knives, the double fan knife on the Blade Barrage, which then acts as like my shotgun almost. So because I run a hand cannon and a sniper, I find that against the stronger ads, the shielded ads, the high value targets, that if I'm just shooting them with a primary, it takes a long time. It's boring. It's not effective at all. Whereas everyone else would be running a shotgun to kill them. So I run the double knives, which then are insane and act as my, and you always have them because of the dodge combo. So they act as my shotgun, and then I use them on the blockers as well. So they just go in really handy. And then the super itself gives me something to use for DPS, because otherwise I just feel like I don't really contribute much with DPS. So
what's your heavy usually?
It varies. So like for the tournament, for example, I'm running tractor cannon, which I'm running for DPS purposes for the team.
You said
but
tractor
normally,
cannon?
yeah, tractor cannon, yeah. But then normally I'd probably say a heavy machine gun, probably hammerhead, just because they are so dominant when it comes to, like, when I invade, I normally come up against heavy machine guns, so I kind of feel like I have to run one as like a counter.
Nice.
But I'd rather not use one. I just kind of feel obligated to use one.
So why is it that hunters are the best? Can you describe why that's the case?
What a loaded question. I mean, I play as a hunter, so I'm happy.
Not loaded at all.
We're all hunters now.
Yeah.
Oh, you are too, Watts. Wow.
It's well, I mean, obviously it's personal preference, but I mean, for invading, obviously 6-shot gold is very good if you want to go in and just
True.
use the super and just ping, ping, ping. But I don't think there's another subclass that really offers kind of like that neutral game that can replace not having a shotgun quite as well. Just because the double knives are so strong, and you always have them if you chain your dodge, then you basically always have it. So I mean, hunters are just the best anyway.
They're the
so-
best. Exactly.
See,
That's
I was
what I've
trying to
been
make you say
saying
that.
this whole time. They're the best.
Do you play the other classes like at all in any other modes for any reasons, or you pretty much you're like all Gambit Prime all the time?
I am all hunter all the time. I only have 2 characters. I don't have a titan at all. I have a warlock, which I haven't played in a while. I literally just play on my hunter.
This is
And then
fantastic.
in terms of what I actually play,
And you're the best.
exactly. So I mean, the evidence is there. The correlation
There it
is
is.
that hunters are clearly
It's
no
it's
coincidence.
superior
science.
class. I mean,
Are you
exactly.
on PC or console?
PC? But I play with a controller, so controversial maybe.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried playing mouse and keyboard? Is that your jam at all?
I've tried it,
ever?
and I am terrible, absolutely terrible with it. Yeah.
Clearly,
And then
you
when I
don't need it.
realized controller was good, well, I mean, I'm sure if I don't know. When I realized how good controller was on PC, I was just like, yeah, I don't want to try mouse and keyboard.
Right. I mean, it's all aim assist. Let's be honest.
Anybody
could do what you do with
anyone
aim assist,
could do
right?
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
joking. Like some people,
I don't
they can have that attitude, but it's like if controller solved all the problems, then everybody would just plug in a controller.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think comfortability, obviously, like it's number one. What you're comfortable with, what you have fun with.
Yeah.
You're playing a game. You should have fun with it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
How long have you been playing Destiny? Like, where did it start?
Day one, basically. I got D1 day one it came out, and then I kind of played it for like, I want to say like a month or so, and then kind of dropped off a bit. My friends stopped playing it because it had kind of a rough start, and then it was around the time that games like GTA 5 came out on next gen consoles and Far Cry 4 came out, so I started playing them. And then I remember quite well, actually, it was like beginning of January 2015, and I didn't have any games that I wanted to play, so I just thought, oh, I'll give Destiny a try again. Played it like on my own, and then just like fell in love with the game in like a week, and basically haven't stopped playing it since.
Haven't looked back.
Yeah, and then yeah.
And then maybe step back to like in terms of playing Gambit and that Watts and Teft, and just for context, like I've fallen out of it. Not that I don't enjoy it, I do. I just maybe I'm not as much of a PvP player, but Watts and Teft, do you guys play Gambit and Gambit Prime at all?
I haven't really played much. I got Delirium early in the season. That was it. Yeah.
You grinded Delirium out hard. It was like day one. You were like, I got it.
2 days. I was like, I'm getting this before everybody gets perks.
Yeah, it was really fast.
I was like, those set perks are going to make this really annoying. So I'm going to get this right away.
I quite enjoy Prime. When I wasn't super crazy about Gambit, at least in the state that it had gotten into before we had Season of the Drifter. But Prime, I enjoy quite a lot. I haven't played recently just because I've been trying to do other stuff and focus on other things. But I think I'll probably be jumping into Prime again soon, especially on console because I haven't done Delirium on console yet. And that's a really good gun. So it's one of the few pinnacles that I really want to make sure I get.
Yeah.
Really? So Delirium is worth getting.
Oh, definitely. Delirium's my favorite LMG.
It's really good.
Dang. I haven't even started down.
Fran is also going to be playing Prime.
Yeah, apparently I'll be looking for people.
In my opinion, Prime is considerably better than regular Gambit. Just how it was.
Yeah.
I haven't played regular Gambit since they did the Mayhem and third round type of thing. But anytime I played 3 rounds in regular Gambit, it kind of wore on me, just because I was looking for like the completion and the stat increase.
Sounds like
it
Benj
definitely, it definitely like it feels better with the sudden death thing, and when you play a lot of Prime and then go back to original Gambit feels quite easy and quite chill, just because like the ads aren't crazy strong. But I preferred Prime until the recent changes they made to the Invader. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but so they changed it so that when the primeval was up, the amount of primeval you can heal is reduced, and how often you can invade is reduced. So now it just kind of feels like even if I invade and get all 4 kills, like the primeval's health barely goes up, and it doesn't make a difference. And then you can't invade in the time that they can DPS, so it just feels like a waste of time. So I'm a bit like with it now. Whereas before I was like, yeah, Prime's a lot better.
Interesting.
But at the minute, I'm 50-50. So.
Nice. And maybe going back to your history with Destiny, were you always like a PvP player, or did you play both sides? Like, tell us maybe what you got into over all these years.
Very PvP heavy. Basically D1, yeah. D1 was like PvP only, basically.
Trials?
Yeah. Like trials every weekend, helping people get to the lighthouse. I like didn't do raids at all, and then that kind of carried on into D2 with year 1, even though it wasn't amazing. I just played PvP, and then I still like play PvP a lot, and I still love PvP. I just play Gambit more at the minute, but Gambit has made me like appreciate PvE a bit more. Still don't get into raids that much. I don't raid at all, really. But just general PvE activities, I'm like more willing to do than I was prior to Gambit.
If you play PvP, what do you rock in terms of a hunter loadout?
I probably either just switch to the 6-shooter goalie, or probably run the spectral blades, and then whack on a last word with my sniper, and off I go.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And did we ever clarify what you use for your hand cannon and sniper normally in Prime?
In Prime,
I think you said
hand cannon
and sniper, right?
Yeah. So my go-to is hand cannon sniper, with the hand cannon being spare rations if I have a good one, midnight coup or ace of spades, and then sniper. Just a legendary sniper with a good roll. So like my Fate Cry's Foul has a very good roll, and my Longer Buy has a very good roll. So they're like my go-to.
What's the roll
too
that you consider a good one?
The Fate has a short zoom, snapshot, moving target, so it feels really nice. The Longer Buy has short zoom, snapshot, rapid hit. So that one feels nice as well.
Nice.
So yeah, one of those two is normally my go-to.
Nice. So, we only have so much time to talk about the tournament and Gambit and all that, but I actually did want to ask, since the unique perspective and you've played so much, what does Gambit Prime 2.0 look like to you? Like, where could they take this? And maybe just to share an example, like, I don't play enough, but when I hopped in and saw the class work, I almost thought, like, man, it's almost a tinge of Overwatch. And I almost just wanted to select different class types without the armor grind and stuff. But maybe that's a little bit of my vision. But, like, what do you think about what the future could look like at all for Gambit Prime? What would you want to see?
For Prime, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
Or Gambit in general would be fine too, obviously.
Yeah.
What's the evolution of Gambit?
Evolution of Gambit. After Prime as well. I suppose. I don't know. It's a tough one because I feel like Prime was intended as the evolution of Gambit, so that's kind of like where we're at anyway. So maybe just like little tweaks here and there to like in-game stuff, just things like maybe limiting. So like we have the set roles now, but maybe taking that one step further and just saying kind of have to pick one maybe beforehand. Kind of just like so it's like more set roles. Maybe mixing it up how you achieve the armor. So obviously we have the reckoning now, but maybe you obtain it a different way. I think they went up with the right direction in Prime because like the Primeval, they making it the staged the forced DPS was like a big change in the right direction. And like making it one round was a big change because it like speeds it up and that kind of thing. So for me, it just be like little tweaks, just things like I still feel like heavy's quite or very prominent in Gambit Prime. So like it spawns up on the wall a lot. People now know to run like taken ornaments, fallen ornaments, that kind of thing. So it kind of feels like everyone has heavy all the time. Yeah, like
Okay.
It sounds like you're pretty happy with where Gambit is.
Yeah.
Generally.
I feel like because I loved the original Gambit, so if you'd have asked me like back then what I wanted to see, I probably wouldn't have been able to give you an answer. But like by them but I think they just took it in the right direction because like the roles were like already there. They just needed to actually sort of put them in game.
Sure.
Which they did. And I think that's just something that needs to be maybe built across the like PvP and PvE in general. And I think like the changes to the Primeval and that kind of thing were all steps in the right direction. I think now it's just like tweaking the things like reverting the DPS changes or the invader changes, and just maybe tweaking heavy ammo. Yeah, so for me, there's nothing like major that stands out. Like, oh my god, this needs to change, or we could go massively in this direction. Yeah, I think it's in a good place.
Okay. Maybe just to cap off the questions to you. So May 18th, Gambit Prime Arena Cup Finals in Nottingham, and that's belong.gg, I think, is like an easy place to find it, right? But do you know if is it broadcasting on Twitch?
Yeah, there's I can't remember the official Twitch. It's like Belong Gaming Arenas or something along those lines, where they'll be like live streaming the entire like final, shoutcasted by Fallout and Bife.
Oh yeah, Bife is going to be there as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good friend.
Looks like it's twitch.tv/belong arenas. And it's from 12 to 11. That's British Standard Time, which is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Perfect.
So that's when you can watch it on Saturday,
Awesome.
May 18th.
Nice. So that was a lot of my questions for Benj. Did I miss anything, Watts or Taft?
I was happy that we got to clarify why hunters are best. Personally.
Should we move into the spicy
Spicy TWAB?
Everyone
updates?
get your anger ears on.
Uh-oh.
Time to get angry. This week at Bungie was something. Lots of bombs could be said about it, right?
yes, I opened Twitter and it was brah. It was just all I heard was brah, and then
It's funny that I didn't see it. I've been very busy up to the end of the day, and I got our DM group on Twitter, and it was basically Watts talking to CC Kuhn, and it was like, oh, this is a spicy one. Somebody said that. I was like, what? What's going on? You know, and as it turns out, they have sort of a problem with exotics and DPS, and super energy, and
so
you'll get into it.
Should I go?
A lot of big changes.
Should I go through the Sandbox change?
Let's just go through, just read it.
Yeah, okay. So season Opulence Sandbox changes. It's coming fast approach. Similar to past seasons, some Sandbox changes will arrive with it. And this one is going to be a doozy with the Sandbox changes. Let's see. So from the Destiny dev team for the season Opulence.
By the way, can I just say that notice how they don't say a specific person?
They didn't want to out anybody.
They knew what was coming.
They've usually used some Sandbox designer's name, right, to explain it.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
Here's Josh Hamrick to explain what's going on.
Why'd you make all these spicy decisions?
Here's the 800 people try and find who did it.
They really should have just put Holtzman : like, I mean, come on.
Holtz came in and said, "Let's clean house." So. Some of the weapons have been overwhelmingly that challenge. Our first choice is to buff underused weapons, but if we continue to push every weapon up higher and higher, it will be impossible to maintain challenging experiences. This is not a full list of changes, but some of the most impactful. So they're basically prefacing saying that the reason they're doing this is because they're feeling a ceiling that they're hitting right now. This DPS ceiling has been pushed up against. And in order for them to add more interesting stuff to the sandbox, they're saying that they have to make these dramatic changes. All right. These life-altering changes to my sandbox.
If I may, it's not like this is the first time we've heard this narrative, right? Every time they get into the Crucible, every time they get in, it's always about, well, we can't just buff everything or everything becomes meaningless and too crazy.
Or could they?
But we don't want to nerf everything. They said this. Although we're seeing that now, but they don't want to just nerf stuff. So they talked about a long time ago, you remember with Destiny 2, they want to reintroduce new weapons and stuff. And it does seem like it's kind of the same, but some things have not changed either. Like this goes back to Destiny 1.
There's a lot of echoes being heard from what we've seen in D1 with the stuff. So
let's hear the nerfs, and then we can talk about the...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, maybe before you read, I'm just going to name the things that are getting touched. And you can wonder before you get into reading.
Okay.
Whisper of the Worm, Sleeper Simulant, Lord of Wolves, Ace of Spades. Moving on to armor, everything, Skull of Dire, Hamkara, Orpheus Rigs, Phoenix Protocol, Shards of Galanor, Ursa Furiosa, Quizinvest.
You know what all those have in common?
That they're awesome.
Fun.
No fun allowed. Come on.
So, Whisper of the Worm. Whisper of the Worm is already adjusted in Season of the Drifter, but an exotic that can generate an infinite amount of heavy ammo is still a gigantic outlier and renders many weapons irrelevant for certain encounters, which is true. When we did 0 Hour, it's like, well, if you don't have Whisper, you're essentially nerfing yourself by not having Whisper equipped. While exotics are intended to be powerful and novel, bypassing the ammo economy can tend to force us to adjust enemies to compensate, meaning they have to make bullet sponge enemies to compensate for that. Effectively results in sniper rifles as a whole being punished because of Whisper's unique ammo ability. As a result, we're removing the ammo generation ability so that we can increase the effectiveness of all other snipers that don't have an endless ammo supply. So White Nail pulls from reserves rather than manifesting it out of the sandbox, out of thin sandbox air. And reserve ammunition has been increased to 18 without ammo reserve perks. So you're probably going to get like 20 or 21 maybe.
20?
Yeah, with armor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So right now it's 9, which is really bad.
It's going to be, you're going to be getting a lot in reserve. So it might be the case of, I know everyone's like, oh my God, the world is officially ending. But it might be the case of during a damage phase, you can pump out 20 shots into a boss and you can go run around, you get some ammo, and then you can do the same thing again. So it might not be as bad as people think it is.
Yeah. So Watts, you had actually, in the DMs, you said this best part of your reaction was like, oh, they brought back White Nail, meaning like this is a White Nail classic now for the most part.
Yes.
So they kind of went all the way. Yeah, exactly. They went all the way back to that.
It's going back to Black Spindle in D1 because White Nail was a problem in D1.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
It's
to
just
that
hilarious
point,
that they come back to that. Yeah.
I did at least because I had the same thought you did, Watts. I was like, well, you know what? I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, boom, 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 4, 5. I'm thinking 18's a lot. However, unlike D1, we don't have heavy ammo synths, and also we've gotten used to not sitting on your ammo forever, and sometimes ammo economy to get heavy can be challenging.
That's my biggest
depending
concern
on the
with
missions,
this stuff.
right?
Because so you're going to count
gonna
out those shots.
sit on it.
If you get about 20 shots off total, then that's like a good round. But the way the ammo economy has been in the game so far is that you feel lucky if you were to able to go and pull a full set of heavy in your next phase of killing ads.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh, I got lucky. Heavy ammo drop for me. So if they fix that, then I'm okay with that. But if they don't, then it's like, well, there goes that weapon.
So
that never
when
has
I
ammo.
saw that Whisper was in the game and it had the original perk, I was like, what are you doing? Because clearly any gun that completely bypasses the ammo economy is a problem when you are creating encounters. Because as a designer, when you're creating a new boss room, for example, you're like, okay, well, now we have to design a boss around this one weapon of can people sit in the back and just plink away at the boss? Okay, well, how do we get them out of there? How do we get them down? How do we punish people for doing that? So you have all of these design questions around a single gun. And it gets to the point where it's like, just deal with the gun.
Yeah.
Instead of nerfing your design encounters, nerf the gun. And
Do you think they had the new raid in mind?
it's hard to...
Sure they did. I think so.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling
Yeah.
with Sleeper, maybe they did, because that was kind of out of left field. Whisper, I think it's the same problem with Icebreaker, where you are able to just kind of sit back and not interact with the actual encounter. So when they first initially brought it into D2, I was like, this was a problem. Like, you saw it was a problem when you were making new content. It's going to be a problem again. It's going to get nerfed again.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm very confident that obviously in testing the new raid and content that it was one of the things they're like, okay, are we gonna leave it like this? But more than that, we know Bungie is so data driven, and I've no doubt they've been staring at this data of how many people are using Whisper, like just
But is it
over
that
and
many
over.
though, or is it just like the people? Is it like the top end PvE players going for challenges and that kind of thing? Like,
Well,
I don't know how many people are actually using Whisper.
I feel like it's got to be dominant, honestly.
Yeah, like I did 0 Hour, the new special mission, and I swear everybody that I knew was using Whisper at the end. What did you guys use?
I felt like it was a requirement.
Whisper.
Yeah.
All of us. I don't know if you played it, Benj, but
Haven't done it.
yeah, but it's well, you kind of need to practice and be ready for your huge tournament. But everybody's using it, so I can see that perspective.
Let's be honest, it makes PvE pretty easy. You remember going through the Forsaken campaign and we were just like destroying everything because we could just sit there at the back and just kind of do massive damage. Plus it has a catalyst and whispered breathing, which Black Spindle didn't have, that massively increases its damage.
So yes, you are correct in that aspect, but aren't we supposed to feel like we're space gods wielding space magic?
For sure. I'm actually totally fine with a gun
powerful.
super powerful.
My gun is
and
imbued
even
with
making,
god power.
right. And I'm okay with it making encounters being, even feeling like, yeah, I'm super powerful because this is easy. But the biggest problem is the bypassing the ammo economy. That's the biggest thing, is that it enables players to not play the encounter in the way that they want to design it, or they have to design around one gun.
So I feel you, but at the same time, I felt like there was a lot of times I felt like I had to use Whisper because the ammo economy was so broken, where getting a brick of heavy
really
was
liked
like,
your point. I really liked your point of I would love to see them drop more heavy ammo. I would really like to.
Yeah, my concern is that on the one hand, I do understand that, like, fine, you want to mix up the sandbox a bit, and it says everybody's just using Whisper, but it is fun to use, and I think that's part of the discussion. Like, we saw some of that starting to happen with, as much as the launch of Destiny 2 was just all over the place, but there was sort of like this middling, we're trying to even things out, but then everything became more like, I don't know, so are we going to end up like, well, maybe I'll use, Borealis, or maybe I'll use are we still going to see a handful of exotics, which I think is the ideal, that you choose from, say, 3 or 4 awesome guns for an encounter versus just the one?
Right.
But that's my worry, is that in this, how can we be assured, because we've seen it happen before, that it's still going to leave us with something fun to use?
Yeah.
Like you said, you want to be that powerful guy.
That's my thing, is like, I want the game to be fun. And if they're having a problem with things like DPS, then I feel like the encounters need to stop being designed around DPS specifically. They need to be more mechanic checked, which is
Benj,
it's more difficult. But
I definitely saw this nerf coming. Just like when people are like, let's get Icebreaker back. I'm like, you don't want it back. They're just gonna nerf the fact that it regens ammo because you can't design stuff around that. But it's a tough thing. I feel like they kind of brought Whisper back and it was like, oh, this super awesome perk is here. Come on back. Kind of knowing full well that they would have to nerf it eventually. I think the thing that really kind of worries me about the TWAB is that they didn't mention any buffs. And I don't know if that's because they haven't locked those in yet, so they don't want to mention what's happening to them. But if I'm writing this TWAB and I'm like, I'm getting rid of stuff that people like, I'm going to want to put in some buffs there, right? To kind of even the playing field, where it's like, you're not just losing Whisper, this thing's also being buffed, because absolutely you cannot just nerf things to make people use other stuff, because people are still going to use the stuff that's really, really good. It's not going to make people then start using something that sucks just because this other thing is not as good anymore.
Look,
you have to.
What's interesting is that they
it.
said they wanted to make other snipers effective, and they didn't talk about those changes. So like they wanted to make changes to them, but they can't talk about them. So it seems like this is the bad news first and then good news next week.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that they reduce flinch across the board for like.
They aren't gonna do that.
We
can dream. We can dream, but
oh man, but it's really so bad, especially in PvE. It's like so bad.
Oh, it's awful. Nail on the head, as it were, with that one. Why is it that has been, like, I swear, over a year?
Flinch?
We've been year and a half since launch.
Like, we're into the DNA of the game.
It's a bug.
Didn't they say they weren't going to do anything about it, or that they were aware of it, but they weren't?
I know that there was a bug with sniper flinch specifically, and they were like trying to figure out how to fix that bug, and then they could then work on it.
I thought they did fix it, and it had to do with how the scopes.
I mean, it's not
like the parallax of the scopes, how they ended up swaying, and they had to go in and redo every scope with the images and all that. But they apparently,
I'm sure they can fix meaning your box breathing works fine, right? Like they can fix. Yeah. They can make your sniper rifle not go all over the place. I'm sure there was.
I don't want to be shot by a shank and have to miss my whisper shot,
right?
Because I was shot by a freaking shank.
Exactly.
It's very aggravating.
Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you don't have to use your whisper.
Because I'm not going to use a whisper anymore.
We've been using Darcy instead.
That's what everybody's saying, by the way. So maybe just to jump, like, are people going to use Darcy now? People are talking, barricades, Lunafaction boots, Darcy.
With Darcy, yep.
Is that the replacement, probably?
Yeah, because the only reason people use Whisper over Darcy is because of the unlimited ammo potential of White Nail. So now it's just like, because Darcy has the better, like, burst DPS, so Darcy will now be the go-to option.
I love Darcy, actually. So that's the part of me that's like, I actually wouldn't mind going back to use Darcy. However, I don't want to run out of heavy ammo. And I think that's the other side of it too. These are, at Whisper at least, is a heavy item. And heavy ammo economy is not great, like
telling you, it is bad.
If this was special ammo.
Yeah, no problem.
Because Icebreaker was special energy. Yeah. So we didn't have to face a problem like that, even when they were messing around with Icebreaker.
Yeah, I feel like the ammo economy issue is another one of these fundamental, like, it's in the DNA of the code that they just can't quite get right, you know? Like, sometimes you have 5 bricks drop, and then you have, like, 5 minutes go by with no heavy. You're like, well, of course I'm not going to use my heavy. I'm going to save it because of those situations, because I feel like I'm going to be starved of heavy most of the time. So I feel like they got to fix that if they're going to make lean heavier on this stuff.
So maybe just for like a more succinct version of a review of this, is everyone super upset about this? Are you open to the changes? I personally, I would like to see some change. I think that's the only thing I will say. And I know that now everyone's going to hate me on the show, and this see ya, it's the last time I'll ever be here.
Thanks,
but like,
Fran.
I'm getting a little, I'm getting a little bored of the meta. It's so like, I knew I was going to use Whisper as soon as this new mission came out. I just knew it. And like, it'd be nice if it shifted in another direction with a few weapons. And that's my hope. But I don't know if Watts was the one that first was saying it, but like, what's going to rise up? What's the buffs? I don't know. I'm a little worried about it.
When we get the catalyst for Outbreak perfected, that'll be really interesting if that's a super powerful gun because it's a primary.
I was thinking about that.
I would actually kind of like to have a meta where a primary is really, really strong for DPS.
Yeah, it's like a new version of Telesto almost.
I'll be honest.
Well, Rat King.
We haven't gone through the other stuff, and there's a lot.
Listen,
it just
how
it
you
just
feel
straight
about
up
Whisper right now?
it feels like. It feels really silly. I'm not surprised, but it's super silly because we saw this in D1. We went down this path, and then it came back. We're like, oh, and it has the perk back. That was good because the heavy ammo economy sucks. But at the same time, you're right, Fran. It does suck to have to always use that gun. And I guess, like from a design perspective, I wish they would go a different solution, as in not having things be so reliant on needing to have DPS. You know, like sit in one spot and crit the leg or the head or whatever.
Yeah. Just to clarify too, it's not that I don't like using Whisper. I mean, I do in the right situation. It's like that's where this is. It's very hard to do. I don't know that I could solve it as a gameplay designer, but it's like, how do you design stuff where someone might use Darcy or Whisper, or inevitably something will rise to the top because that's just what we do.
Yeah.
We're just like water, up against a dam, and we will find whatever crack there is, and the largest crack will win. And we'll all, gravitate towards that. And like, inevitably, meaning, I don't know that we can get away from this. Like, we're joking that Darcy and Barricades is coming. But like, what if that's all we're doing instead and it's not as fun?
I think it is what's going to happen, honestly. I think Darcy's going to become more of a top tier choice because they have to make some fundamental changes in some of their design choices to make that not be the case. Because Darcy is the next in line for DPS. So if the focus is they're nerfing it because the DPS potential is too high, then you're just going to have those same DPS problems that we're solving for these next missions. They'll be fun, no doubt about it. It's going to be Destiny. I'll be enjoying it, but we'll still run into those same issues where it's like, okay, well, you just pick the best things for DPS.
I think that's the thing. We'll always have the issues of something being strong and other things not being strong. And that just comes right back to the conversation we've had for like 4 years of they need to switch up the sandbox more frequently.
They do. Yeah, I agree.
Because then you'll be like, oh, okay, Whisper's super strong. Okay, now we're going into Outbreak being super strong. Okay, now Rockets are super strong. And it changes all the time, so it feels fresh and no one gets as mad because you don't get this favorite thing that you've had for this really long time and then it's just taken away from you.
See, I don't know, though. I feel like that's easy to say, but I think you'd still have why are you always changing it? I just started liking it.
Somebody's always going to be annoyed. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know. I don't like using the same thing forever.
Yeah, they can never win.
It gets boring. They're never going to win with everyone, for sure.
Yeah.
Still need quicker updates.
Yeah.
So Whisper is probably one of the largest concerns, but I think that does say something about how reliant we are on it. That if you can't save 18 in the mag or whatever it is, or get enough ammo, that it's still somewhat useful, or use a gun of, call it equal equivalency almost.
Here's what's going on, though, is it feels less exotic. And that's the crux of the issue, is that these are exotics. They're supposed to feel exotic. They're supposed to have that element to it that it's like, oh, that's why I'm choosing this exotic to give me this kind of type of edge. And them doing these type of nerfs, it's like less exotic now. It's like, yeah, it's exotic, but it's less exotic, less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Sleeper Simulant. The reduction of bounced shot damage for Sleeper Simulant is already present on several important enemies. So this is already in their code. And
for some enemies,
apparently the bounce is a reduction shot or reduction damage. We are now making this reduction part of the weapon. So it's baked into it permanently across all damage. The bounce of the shot into damage points. The difference is difference in damage is too large between a single precision shot of Sleeper Simulant and an angled shot that pierces the target and then also hits the target again with the bounce projectiles. Much like Whisper, we've had to adjust enemies around that potential by making these changes a permanent part of the weapon. We can get into a more balanced, position. So they reduced ricochet bounce damage on boss combatants and modified precision behavior. Total damage is unchanged, but non-precision shots are significantly more forgiving.
I have a feeling that the new boss is just in a really tiny
Little cubby
room
hole.
with lots of angles, and they were like, "No, this can't
sphere.
happen. Get rid of it." He's just in a
I-
tiny room.
Think you were 100% right on that. When we were saying, all of us were like, why is this such a big deal for Sleeper? I'll be honest, I don't remember, first of all, ever using the angle of something to.
I always shot the toes. I like look down, shoot the toe, bounce
Right.
up.
The
Oh,
worst
that's
kind of
okay. That's true. But I would say at large, I would struggle to believe that the player base at large is shooting angled shots to like defeat bosses in a super
They're
OP
not.
manner. I just don't hear much. So I think you're
Too
right.
much.
There's something with the new raid that they were like, yeah, this is going to be a problem.
I think they just straight
so-
up
It had to
calculated
be.
it. The calculator like,
It was like who knew as Sleeper? Like I can't remember the last time since it was like dominant in Gambit, and then it had that
Yeah.
nerf as a result. I don't see
Right.
it anymore, and like no one
I-
uses it, so I don't get.
yeah, if
I
you're
don't
gonna whip out a
understand.
gun
Well-
for fun, usually it's like 1,000 voices, assuming you have 1,000
Yeah,
voices.
exactly.
But that's what I was going to
exactly.
say. If you don't have 1,000 voices, you actually do use, I think, Sleeper, or a lot of people still use Whisper, obviously. So that's, part of what's changing. But anyway, I don't know what to make of it. I'm like, whatever. If you want to change the angled shot, it's not going to bother me that much. So
I wasn't using Sleeper anyway, so I'm just gonna keep not using it.
yeah.
It's silly. Again, it's one of these things where it's like, here's an exotic,
I'm really
and now it
confused
feels
about
less
that.
exotic.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
I'm just
completely.
confused about
Yeah.
the Sleeper thing. I don't
Weird,
get it.
right?
Weird. Yeah, it was weird. That's
Just straight up
our
weird. It's some.
feedback. Weird.
It almost feels like some of this stuff is in responses to speedrunning and like high echelon PvE.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Glad's fault.
Yeah, like
Slay Rage.
It's Chevy's fault for
it's
soloing
Glad and
Argo.
Chevy, man. What the hell? It feels a little bit like that in response. Like they're seeing these little cracks of potential for DPS and saying, "Well, we're
Yeah.
going to remove that."
I could
I
see
feel like
that
they
a
should
little, maybe.
embrace
But,
it.
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Benj.
I was just saying, I think they should embrace that kind of like
Yeah.
seeing like these top tier like PvE players like doing these challenges and stuff, and seeing like the combinations and the weapons and DPS that they're coming up with to be able to do these challenges in the first place. It shouldn't be then like trying to take that away from those players.
Yeah,
Should be like embracing it
Yeah.
and like, okay, this is where we can go and this is what we can do, kind of thing.
I think it's easy to maybe have that perspective, but truthfully, I don't know that Bungie's changed since I've watched them since the Halo days, and like Data, they just have a lot of graphs that we never see. They used to share those graphs a little more often, if you remember the TWAB. I would love
I do
to see
remember
that,
yeah.
again, even though sometimes they were even too detailed. But what was it that they did recently? They made a change. It'll probably come to me later. But they made a change, and I was like, it was enhancement cores. So perfect example. I think they look at the data, and they're like, sorry, guys, data doesn't lie. I know you think it's fun, but 80% of the population is using Whisper. So sorry. Okay, your data tells you that, but going to the enhancement core example, something that bothered me, enhancement cores are so freaking busted. They are not fun at all. I don't enjoy chasing them. I don't know anybody that enjoys chasing them. I don't want to log in and do a spider bounty. Sorry, I personally
I feel you on
am
this.
out of enhancement cores. I don't have time for this nonsense. So we all cried for that, and they said, okay, we hear you. We're going to put in some stuff. But where I'm going with this is they said the data showed us that the amount used versus the amount that people were holding on to. But I would posit and defend, I'm holding on to them because I'm fearful to use them. Does
Yeah.
your
That was my
data
position.
account for that?
Yeah.
It won't,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it doesn't account for the reasoning behind why
Yeah.
people have that amount. And
I would sit on them
Yeah.
for half of a year.
Did they consider that some people are good at saving? You know, have a little savings account of enhancement.
And maybe
cores?
they have. Maybe they have a way to monitor that. But I'm just trying to use it as an example that data, and I know they know this, but data only tells so much of the story. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's dangerous to only look at data. But I do believe they look at a lot of data still, and that's what has led to a lot of these changes.
And it's funny because we've had these discussions before as a community, being like, Bungie, why are you so laser focused on the data? Because it's not the true picture all the time. It's like just
they're like, everybody uses shotguns. We're just no more shotguns in the Crucible.
yeah.
and then that'll be broken for 3 months.
Yeah, they nerf all shotguns when really they needed to nerf one archetype, and that was
or fix flinch.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of shotguns, moving on. Lord of Wolves.
Yeah.
All right. Lord of Wolves
this
received a
gun.
massive increase in damage with the full benefits of the shotgun changes in Season of the Drifter. This made it a lot more popular, but we got a significant amount of feedback that release the wolves activating on every kill made it too difficult to control the weapon's ammo consumption. As a result, we're allowing you to swap between the two states to control the output while also reducing its output slightly. PvE damage is reduced by 20%. Release the Wolves perk has been reworked, so no longer triggers automatically on kill. The effect is now triggered by holding reload, similar to fundamentals on Hardlight and Borealis. And PvE damage and range bonuses on this effect have been removed and replaced with a universal damage bonus cap. Or damage bonus instead, sorry.
What's the damage bonus? They gave us the percentage that the damage has been nerfed. Why can't I get the percentage that the damage bonus
Sounds
gives?
like it was too low and they didn't want to say it.
No, 2%.
0.04.
Yeah, they're like 5%.
And since I have it in front of me, Release the Wolves, just to catch everyone up, is defeating an enemy doubles the number of projectiles per burst for a short period of time. That seemed the thing they were focused on the most, that it just was triggering too much.
I don't hate the actual change to it where you have to select the mode, because I do definitely feel like I ate through an entire clip of Lord of Wolves when I was like, I didn't mean to do that. I was just bursting things. So I kind of like that. I might actually use it more in PvP actually, because with just the regular firing mode, so I don't chew through the ammo. But yeah, I like that. But the damage nerf, I have no idea how much I'm going to feel that, and I don't know how much the damage buff is, so I don't know how it's gonna feel because I don't have the number for the other thing either.
So what's the trade-off with this? Like, it does 20% less damage.
Yeah.
So you're going to be less likely to use it and use a regular shotgun instead. Back to Ikelos, or
Ikelos will probably reign supreme again.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It just seems a bit unnecessary again. Like,
It does.
I don't know. Like, Lord of Wolves is a very good gun, but it's not like everyone's complaining about it and being like, "Oh my god, nerf it, nerf it, nerf it." Like,
yeah, I would have been fine with just changing, like giving us the option to switch between the two modes. I think that would be kind of cool because then, you can control it a little bit more of what you're wanting to do. But the damage, I feel like, was actually okay.
Yeah, I wasn't using it enough. That's what I think is interesting. It's not like I felt like I had to use it like I did Whisper. So that's 20% is a huge nerf.
That's significant.
PvE if you're a fan of the gun.
Yeah.
I love that gun. That gun's great.
You're gonna feel that damage nerf, and like it's a shotgun, so you kind of had to compromise yourself to get in front of a boss to use that as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's like you think about again. I did know that Lord of the Wolves was definitely a prime choice. But we are getting stuck on like a handful of guns. Let's be honest, right? Like, when's the last time you have used Acrius? Like, I loved that gun when it came out. I just haven't bothered with it recently.
It's true.
I'm kind of wondering if some of these changes maybe, especially the Lord of Wolves one, has to do with the catalysts that are coming in Season of Opulence. I haven't looked at all the data mining to see exactly what's coming because I don't want to know, but I do know that a lot of catalysts are coming. So I don't know if the catalyst makes the gun so nuts that you have to kind of bring it back a little bit so it's not
getting a kill gives it 20% extra damage.
There you go. That's what the catalyst does.
Wow. Yeah, it's a little strange. Moving on.
Ooh, this next
and
one's
another
gonna be
one,
spicy.
yes. Ace of Spades is pretty hot in the Crucible.
You don't say.
According to their data. See, what's weird is what's weird is console, not so much,
needed data.
right?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Just
I've heard
180s
that.
on console.
Yeah. So on PC, obviously a lot, but on console, you hardly ever see it. But in here, they're saying Ace of Spades is pretty hot in the Crucible. Well,
I forgot about that.
See, this is interesting because most people play on console, right? Across Xbox and PlayStation,
there's
you have
more
more
players.
people than PC. So if they're looking at data, then it's a little weird to me that they're seeing that
yeah.
the Ace of Spades is so hot.
Yeah, it needs a little asterisk or
Maybe
comma
they're
on
just
PC.
they're just watching streams.
So
It's
wait, what
our fault.
are people just mostly
what it is.
using the
Streamer's
Midnight
fault.
Coup on console?
They're using Not Forgottens and
Luna's
Wow.
Howl.
yeah, right.
If you have them,
Yeah.
what if you don't have those?
If you
though?
don't have a
Just buy 'em.
service revolver,
Hello?
it's literally
Yeah.
any 180
trust-
is better than
trust is
any.
usable.
Yeah, trust is huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trust, service
Oh, yeah,
revolver,
trust. Yeah, yeah.
spare rations. You can also
Yeah.
hire a recov for $1,000. Get yourself a Not Forgotten. Really easy.
It's
right?
so easy now. You got this. You
Easiest
can
way
Yeah.
to do it.
Okay, so Ace of Spades is pretty hot in the Crucible and has been since its inclusion into Destiny 2 Forsaken. The number of perks on the weapon, combined with the semi-permanent effect of Memento Mori, gives the weapon too many advantages compared to other weapons. Now, the Memento Mori ends when you stow the weapon. So you swap the weapon out for your shotgun, you lose the extra bullets, or the bonus
fine.
bullets. You need to make a decision on whether or not you want to keep the weapon drawn to retain the bonus. I don't think that's really a problem. In fact, when I had it out and I have those, I'm usually...
Just keep it.
Yeah, I'm like emptying it. Memento Mori now ends when the weapon's stowed. The PvP damage bonus for Memento Mori was slightly reduced to prevent two-tapping Guardians while Vengeance, aka One-Eyed Mask, was active. Specifically, you need 4 resilience to survive this, which that's pretty common, right? Spec for 4 resilience or higher?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Right? Memento Mori is active for 6 shots again, up from 5. So remember, they dropped it down to 5 and changed the way it worked.
Yeah.
Now with this change, they boosted it back up to 6.
Yeah.
So this
It
isn't.
just seems unnecessary again for me. Like, I play on PC and play PvP, and although Ace is a popular choice, it's not as dominant as like 180s are on console. So like on PC, there's actually quite a fair amount of variety in what weapons people use. And Ace is news, but it's not like crazy like overpowered gun that everyone's using. So I just don't really see.
It's not like your only choice,
why.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I-
Like, there's loads of options, so I don't know.
I
feel
think
this
you're
way.
right about that, but I will say, as someone who does not play Crucible as frequently enough, like daily or even weekly, I hop in a lot, and there's a lot of Ace. Like, there's a lot of it. Now, that's just for me. So again, I don't have the full sample set across the week, but I do feel like there might be something. I'll be honest, I worry less about this one, other than the fun factor. Because like the effects on the gun, the look of the gun, what it takes to earn the gun, it was tough to get. So I worry about that aspect, but I do see a lot of it. I wouldn't mind, because right on PC, it's Not Forgotten, Luna, or Ace. Honestly, for me, I don't know. Do you guys run into that?
I don't think the 180s are on
PC?
PC very often.
No. What I'm saying is, when I get killed, you don't get killed by Lunas and Not
I haven't played
Forgottens and
PvP
Ace all the time
on PC a lot.
Oh,
but when I watch streams, it's usually Ace or something else, not the 180s.
I get killed by Not Forgotten and Luna a ton.
180s get used at like the very, very top level. But like just under that, like Ace is definitely a popular choice. Last Word is like really popular on PC. The pulses are really strong on PC.
I use
the 180
Blast
is definitely
Furnace.
on it strong. Yeah.
So,
But,
these don't.
I really don't mind the change.
Yeah, in terms of a
Roughly speaking.
nerf, it's not that drastic of a nerf. It's just weird that they're touching this gun again, like they just did, and now they're messing with it
Maybe
again.
it's the catalyst again. I don't know.
Yeah,
You could be right about that, Watts. Yeah.
I have no idea what those catalysts are going to add to the guns. I don't really see this as much of a nerf. It's just a weird change that didn't really need
it's
to
a
weird
happen.
sidestep.
Yeah.
See, here's the
yeah.
thing. They say it's hot in the Crucible, but the reason it's hot in the Crucible is because of its ability to land shots, and none of this adjusts its ability to land shots.
Well, that's the thing. Its range is really, really good. Like you can actually you can use it against a lot of Lunas, especially because they have to be close to you, whereas you can go fight a little bit further back with Ace. So it's that is really good. The accuracy is really good. There's so much about Ace that is really good, and none of this does anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But, well, you got to think it does reduce the amount of high-powered shots that you're potentially, because people holding on to it, switching, coming back to it, now they'll have to stick to that or nothing. Like, they don't have the option to like shotgun someone, come back, right? And I think that does, meaning ultimately you reduce some of those high-powered shots that are making it out the door, which is something. It's just, it's interesting if you were to look at the overall damage in a match. there's a percentage here, and I don't know what it is, but it might be taking down a player's ace of spades damage by 10, 15% across the whole match or something, right? I'm making that number up, but so there's something here. And again, like I don't use it enough. Yeah, it's a cool gun. I don't think they've done anything to it that are gonna super piss people off. But you know, Benj, you probably use it more than any of us.
Yeah, I've used it a lot. Like,
do you think people are gonna be upset by this?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Like, I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, so like it kind of feels like you can pretty much always have the extra damage bullets if you play your cards right in PvP, which does give you a big advantage. So I guess it just adds a little bit of a tiny bit of a skill gap to it, and that you just got to pay that little bit more attention to, you know, when you're stowing it and pulling it back out again.
Yeah, and they're technically making it less effective too, those extra damage bullets in the PvP.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you get. I mean, it's now active up for those 6 shots too. So they did give it a slight buff for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Overall, it'll probably not change it at all position-wise. I think it'll still be popular.
For sure. Yeah. Moving on.
Probably. Yeah.
Exotic
a lot of
armor.
armor. Super energy changes coming.
Yeah, so let's see. Exotic armor, along with weapons above, we will also be making some changes to some exotic armor pieces, primarily paying attention to the pieces of exotic armor that grant back super energy. We felt they are increasingly becoming must-pick gear choices, which is true. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Orb generation from teammates is meant to be the best way to accelerate your super generation. So Bungie's saying that they want you to get your super back from your teammates making orbs by this, instead of getting your super bag from the exotics that you're picking. These exotics are allowing players to bypass this teamwork mechanic by generating a large amount of super energy without relying on other players' orbs. Also, because these items are so overwhelmingly strong in situations where players face off against a large number of enemies, some activities were designed considering the use of armor such as Orpheus Rigs, Phoenix Protocol, Skull of Dire, Aramkara, etc. This means if someone in your fire team doesn't have these super exotics equipped, the activity becomes far more difficult. That's interesting. So they actually designed around those exotics, thinking that you were going to have those in certain encounters. Making some changes to these armor pieces to try to preserve their power fantasy and still leave them as viable choices for difficult activities without making players feel like they must have them equipped or be at a huge disadvantage. Super generating exotic armor changes. Skull of Dire, Arhamkara, Orpheus Rigs, and Phoenix Protocol now receive super energy back with diminishing returns, making it rarer to get a full super back. Let's talk about that.
So possible, but rare.
Well, yeah.
It's
how do you guys read this? Does that mean
it sounds like less
successive?
That's how I read that.
Oh, got him. Wow. Does that mean each successive, say, I use Orpheus Rigs a ton, obviously.
And it's super fun to see that super bar pop right back,
super
right?
Fun. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's one of the main reasons you use it. If you use it right as well, I mean, you do have to tether enough enemies to make it worthwhile. Does it mean that each successive one gets worse?
See, I thought that when
mean?
I initially read it, but now I think they just mean that you're just getting less returned to you.
Okay, and I think that makes way more sense because a progressive, like,
now
the
receive
more
super
you
energy
use it, the
back
more you
with
hate
diminishing returns, making it rarer to get full super
it. It's
back.
diminishing returns.
I know, it's really weirdly
I
worded.
think it just
Cosmo.
means less than what
I think it just means less.
Yeah.
I think
Cosmo's
so.
number call.
See, this is the thing. They didn't put a number in here. You want to know why? Because it's steep.
Cosmo wrote this.
That's why. They don't want
It's
people going,
steep.
damn, how much of a nerf?
I saw a tweet from Bife, and Bife said, the reason that I don't use Mechaneer's trick sleeves is because they're bad, not because Orpheus Rigs are good. So you can make any of the super generating exotics terrible to where they give you like the tiniest amount of super energy back. People are still probably going to use it in PvE because that's just something that is so valuable in PvE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're talking about the mechanic is they want people to work together to generate orbs for each other. So they're forcing
Exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, they're forcing a narrative of saying like, hey, if you're not making orbs for your teammates, then you're playing it wrong. And that, to me, that's a big red flag. That's like, hey, I want to play Destiny the way I want to play. If I want to be some lone wolf racking up a bunch of tethers because I'm wearing Orpheus Rigs, that's me. That's me doing that. Or Shards of Galanor. I think that's my choice to have that kind of fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Some
like the way people play, like so people take advantage of this and can chain supers. So like you're working as a team anyway. So you're not using the orbs to get each other's supers, but like you're getting your super back and then using your super straight away and then generating orbs
Yeah.
for the next person to get their super. So like that teamwork's there because of the exotics and how they
That's
are
true.
right now. And that works well, and like it requires like good like teamwork and communication to pull that off. And then it's really satisfying when you get like when you constantly chain the supers and you feel powerful and it feels good. So if that's like not possible now, I don't think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. For PvE, this is a big,
like I
big
said,
change.
the raid boss is just in a tiny room, and your Skull of Dire Ahamkara and Sleeper Simulant was gonna be too much.
Too damn
Apparently.
much.
And Orpheus Rigs and
Insta-kill.
Phoenix
Insta-killer.
Protocol.
So to reading on, Shards Galanor and Ursa Furiosa had their super gain caps reduced to be in parity with other super exotic changes. So they just want to essentially bring them in line to what's happening with the others. And Gwyn's Invest had its energy reduced from 15% to 8% for killing 1 to 2 guardians. Still scales up similar to before when killing 3 or more guardians. PvE energy return remains similar to before as well.
So wait, Quiz Invest had its energy reduced from 15 to 8%. Is that how much you get back? That's what it's saying?
Yeah, I think so.
From 15% to 8%.
From 50. It's almost halved.
Yeah.
So
It is halved.
that's bringing down quite a bit based on the kills you're getting.
We got actual numbers right there. That's what makes me think that the other ones got reduced significantly.
That they're worse than that one. Maybe Cosmo just didn't write it though.
I think they cut that thing
Busy
in half.
day.
Lazy, right?
They saying rarer to get a full super back. Rarer.
Rare.
That means never, probably.
Yeah, that means like, oh, I got my full super. Crazy. RNG.
Yeah.
For Orpheus Rigs, you got it like every time. So Rara maybe is not terrible.
Actually, you know what? I now that you're saying it, I think you're right that it's significant.
It's going to be significant, yeah.
I remember when Orpheus Rigs came out, and I thought it was bugged because it just launched, and somebody told me what it did. And I said, whoa, that's messed up. And I wasn't a hunter at the time. I was a Titan or a Warlock or something. And I actually just went on about playing and didn't even cross my mind that it wasn't going to be fixed in the next patch or whatever. Then a couple days went on. I was like, wait, that's how they work? I was like, show me this. And like, it's incredible when you think about it. When you go back and think about how we've accepted some of these changes, to be fair, Shards Galanor, Gwizinvest, like it's gotten a little crazy. And I remember them talking about the super narrative as well and how they want you to feel powerful. Like you're talking about, Tef, like it is fun. And they want that. And they actually nailed it in a lot of respects. It almost seems like there's a narrative that's changing inside Bungie right now.
It really does.
Time out. This arcadey supers for everyone, whatever. We need to bring this down to be fair, like in Destiny we had our moments
vanilla.
No, not that. Hopefully to be fair, right, in Destiny 1, I'm struggling to think of any moment where I would like be generating like tons of super regen, you know? I'm probably forgetting it. Somebody correct me very shortly, but Destiny 2, you're pretty powerful with the super regen stuff. So it almost seems like, in a way, in other words, maybe there's another way to look at it, that they're trying to restore some of the balance of, call it, what we liked in D1 maybe.
The super mod's not a factor as well, though. Like to take into consideration, like people running, like how many people run like 5, meaning they get their super back ridiculously quick.
Paragon mods,
regardless.
barbers.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah,
Titans and Bubbles
Yeah.
provide a lot of orbs.
I hear you, but when we went down the path of let's have this more balanced, the overwhelming result was that's just not as fun. Just
True.
not as exciting. Like you don't want to have a situation where you're going through a strike and only walking away with like 2 supers. In fact, you remember that in detail? That's crazy to think about. That like you would literally just get 2 supers when you did a strike in vanilla.
Yes. And I agree. That was absolutely a problem where I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I want to use, that was the problem.
That was
like,
nuts,
I
right?
Use my super. And I sometimes I would, depending on how things went, or, you know, maybe I wasn't paying attention because I was streaming, and like, I wouldn't even get 2 supers until the very end when the boss is already dead or something. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't even get to use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to equip my spin foil hat and say maybe these are changes setting up for a larger change of the way that Sandbox and making builds are going to be in the future. So
That's
what if,
yeah.
for example, what if we had, you know, like the old D1 system come back of the instead of using mods to get your super, you had intellect and stuff like that? Or what if they just created more builds in general of you can kind of spec into this thing and this can make your super come back more, and then maybe we get exotics that are more niche and really go into that build that you create. If that's the case, I'll be happy.
That's
I want
interesting.
more RPG elements.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just what I want.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Like maybe we're turning into a new era here. Like we've spent a lot of time in the very super powered Guardian. You know, as much as there's things to fix and things not to, but maybe we're turning a corner, and this is the beginning to test. Before, when you think about it too, this is before the big release, probably that Holtzman's now working on and
Right.
coming out in September. It makes a lot of sense that they need to get some of this out the door, judge these reactions, test it, right? So I think you're right about some of that.
So someone in chat just said, "Have you seen DMG's tweet?"
Yeah. What do you say?
And the tweet
Did he
is
say
from
April
6
Fools?
minutes ago, and it's the Destiny 2 original soundtrack, track number 7, "Forge Ahead." He just tweeted the soundtrack. Like it's literally it's the song "Forge Ahead."
Do you
Is there
think?
anything in the song we need to know about?
Interesting.
Do you think he just had
Maybe
like
he-
visions of bread dancing around and he decided to tweet that?
Forge
Maybe
a
it's-
bread.
Maybe it's
Wouldn't put it
a
past
sign that we're, you know, like Fran had said, we're turning over a new leaf into a new.
Okay.
We're forging ahead into a new.
We're forging
I love
ahead.
where this is going. Can we all get the spinfoil hats out? This is great.
So I
This is
like
fantastic.
I like things moving forward. I like forging ahead, all that stuff. But we went down a path before with this game, and we tried to hammer it home before on this podcast as well about how they need to make sure that they test these things with fun in mind. Like if a change dramatically changes the game and makes it less fun, they seriously need to reconsider those things, because it's a fantasy game first. It's in my opinion, it's a PvE power fantasy space magic type of game first, and then a balance competitive type of game second. And it's how I feel about the game, and I want them to make sure that they maintain fun first and foremost. And if they do pull things back to make room for things that have some great character RPG elements, that's great. I'd love to see that, but I definitely want them to make sure fun is first and foremost.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought your strike example was really good. Like, we don't want to go through another strike and feel generally powerless, even if it was a challenge. You know, we got to have fun in between.
I agree.
What else have they?
Let's see.
with?
Was there anything else? There's a T-shirt for Trevor.
You should. I think it's worth reading the final
Sympathetic.
line there.
Yeah, we're sympathetic about the fact that the changes we make in the interest of balancing combat and game design can be jarring. It was important that we have this conversation before you read the patch notes. We know many of you have a lot riding on the day one of Season of Opulence. Hopefully this intel will assist you in building the perfect monster-killing machines for the next season of play. It is nice that they acknowledge that, but at the same time, I feel like the slapback, if they hadn't mentioned this stuff on June 4th, would have been like vicious.
I'm really glad they mentioned the big stuff this early on, and then maybe, you know, we get the patch notes and it's like, this has been buffed. Hey, yeah, cool, fun.
Yeah.
You know?
It's still.
I feel like
Yeah,
that
it's still
paragraph
tough,
is
though.
them acknowledging how angry some people are going to be about some of
Oh,
those changes.
here we go again.
Expected
Yeah.
the back.
I was gonna say it's still tough, right? Because the update comes on June 4th for this. Are they gonna do the week early, maybe? But
I'm assuming
we
June
do need
4th.
a little time. Hopefully, a week early, like we normally would see.
Yeah.
But for seasons, we don't normally see that, though. Right?
Exactly. It's like it's
So, like,
pie in the sky. In my
if this is
opinion.
day one, it's like a little tough to adjust things without actually trying it. But
Yeah.
so why don't you change this stuff a little early, Bungie? Give us a little, like
Give
one
us a week.
In addition to this information would be awesome. But I don't know.
Also, I think they're probably going to have a buff list next week, most likely.
Buff
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Right?
Why do you guys think that?
We're
Like,
gonna
I-
get more nerfs next week.
More
I
nerfs?
don't know, man.
Bonus. Just
All these supers
see how
in
far.
the trash
See how
can.
far they can push it with all the nerfs.
They just keeps talking about him like in succession. Oh man.
That'd be amazing.
I don't know. It seems weird to me that they would wait to talk about. I mean, maybe, but it's weird to
I'll just get
separate
the
them, like you
nerfs out of
said.
the way, I guess.
I think they know
Yeah.
that the dominant conversation is going to be, what did you do to my beloved exotic?
That could be the case. Yeah, maybe they wanted to put that out first so everyone can see it and kind of digest it. And then
Yeah.
here's the buffs.
Yeah.
Because maybe if they were
Maybe.
worried that if they put the buffs at the same time, where yes, it would kind of counteract the nerfs that are coming, but at the same time, maybe people would just completely overlook it and be like, Whisper's getting nerfed, so I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Possible.
Basically, give people a cooldown period
Exactly.
after reading this news.
A
and then be
cooldown
like,
with diminishing returns, Bench.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Rarer chance of full excitement.
All our new keywords to use.
Yeah, that's what I think is happening. I could be completely wrong, though. It does feel like a new Bungie. Or new narrative
Yeah.
from reading between the lines.
They hired a bunch of new people.
They
Like
did?
a lot. I saw on Twitter, just all on my feed, it was like, today was my first day of Bungie. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's a lot of people's first day.
Right? Yeah.
A lot of good senior people, though, have moved on. So I think, I don't know. Did you see them hiring a lot of senior people, Watts?
I
know what I
don't
mean?
really remember.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember that the people that left are the ones that really like Bloom and really like Flinch.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow. Is that the correlations you're making?
Fingers crossed. Flinch is going away. Come on.
I don't think that's what was stopping them. I think they just did a lot of restructuring budgetarily. And
Yeah.
I mean, they brought.
so I'd be
in,
curious who they brought in. But
They brought in change for PvP, which is I think is a really big positive
Yep.
step in the right
Absolutely, yeah.
direction because he's like a top tier player. So to bring him in for, I'm guessing
Who
it's
is
like the
this?
6-month thing. So change or changed was in Bomb Squad Kittens, and he's like,
oh yeah,
I think he was like #1 in quick play, played PC, #1 in quick play, like statistically, like amazing player. And they've picked him up for like I think the 6-month thing, like similar to what Holtzman's doing.
Mm.
So he'll be working on like PvP and stuff.
Yeah.
So that could only be a good thing. I'd
Yeah, the
guess.
fact they grabbed a PvP player, like a very, like he's a PvP player, and they
Yeah,
grabbed
yeah,
someone like that
yeah.
to do gameplay testing, I think that was a really positive for me when I saw that.
yeah. And that's where I was going with that. Is to, I think there's a lot of tough changes they're making. Is my point. I don't think I'm glad they're bringing in new people, but I think the true story is that rebudgeting after life without Activision in the new future for being independent, like ultimately my guess is they had to kind of bring the budget down and really look at how do you keep this many senior people on. But in addition to that, how do you restructure to different teams? They got new projects, etc. This is all my speculation, but bringing in community members, and it sounds like there's a little bit of a wave of that. That's kind of interesting because it could be for lack of a better way to put it, a little more cost-effective way to evaluate, and produce some of the gameplay without only hiring people that have been making games for 10 years,
It's true.
Not that I totally agree with the changes necessarily. It's hard to say, but that's what I've observed. I've seen, frankly, some people I've met and some very good, smart people that are moving on. They didn't really say that, they had to or not, but it seems like some of that might be going on, and it's no coincidence right after the Activision changes.
Yeah. I think it's good they're switching it up, and I think it's good that they have that
New
new
era.
blood in there who's going to have those perspectives.
It
Yeah, I think
gonna be different.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it. No matter what, this
As
is a
we can
big
already
shakeup.
see.
First Activision
Whisper
Yeah,
out the door.
this yeah.
Spinful hat. Maybe the reason that there's no name on it is because these are changes that the old guys did.
Oh.
And then they
Oh.
pieced out. They
You
were
don't wanna
like,
give 'em a
oh,
send
Destiny.
Wow, man.
This is like their mic drop moment. To
Seats are
leave.
still
Like
warm.
just nerfing all these things
on.
as they left. Like.
Oh, man.
Tricky.
Brutal. So the TWAB, rounding out, there is a Trevor t-shirt. If you're unfamiliar, Trevor is that fun little bot in the bottom, cleaning the
Yeah.
floors with his spidey legs,
Yep.
Zer's
crab legs.
robot pet.
Yeah, Zer's buddy that he totally goes hangs out with.
Also known as Sweeperbot.
Yeah, Sweeperbot. Yeah.
Sweeperbot. Yeah.
So you can get a
The new
t-shirt there if
Sweeperbot.
you. Do you have to actually complete it? Venture too deep in the tower. You've awoken something. A terrifying machine. You can buy the. Yeah, I think. Even if you haven't completed the 0-hour mission, you're just a fan of killer robots. You can buy it. So you can just buy it regardless if you're interested in that.
It's a cool T-shirt.
It is, yeah.
It's just like it's like a red sort of red circle with a black gradient in the center, just with Trevor written vertically.
It's kind of got some Siva thing going on.
You got to turn your head to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little Siva-esque, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then does it have an arm patch too? Yeah, I think it has an arm patch that says Trevor. I was looking on there.
Does it? Oh.
I think so. Or no, it's on the back. It's on the back. It also says it vertically.
Nice.
But because the it's a big tall vertical bot, they went with that whole theme. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
I dig it. I want an emblem that's just like that.
Let's see.
We have, if you guys want to get your Iron Burden kills, you only have until Tuesday reset. And then Iron Burden is officially just going away. It's just not going to be a thing anymore. So this is
To get your
get the
Wizened
emblem,
Rebuke,
to get
right?
your
Oh,
Wizened
the emblem.
Rebuke, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it says Iron Planner. Right now, Lord Saladin is in the tower hosting the final Iron Banner of the season. Players who have been pursuing the Heavy as Death emblem for defeating 2,500 Guardians and Iron Banner while affected by the Iron Burden have until the reset, Tuesday, May 21st, to get that done. At the time, Lord Saladin will depart from the tower and Iron Banner will no longer be available. Only a few days remain to claim this reward, so players are encouraged to plan their matches accordingly. If you want to get 2,500 kills.
I ain't doing that.
I'm at 50, pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that they did it, I think. I really like Wizened Rebuke, but that challenge is so high. In my opinion. It seems like a huge grind, right?
It's a little much.
What are you laughing
It's a
at?
lot.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot.
Laughing.
So hardly anybody's going to have this, which is kind of, I don't know, meaning part of it's kind of cool. Like, so
Yeah.
few people will have access to it. But
It's actually a really good looking emblem. If you've ever seen someone with it
Yeah.
in game, it looks really cool. It's a cool looking.
Yeah.
and they earned it, which
They
is
did.
always cool.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Iron Banner. That's right. Also, moving on, clarification of the 9. Tomorrow, Zer's final invitation of the 9 becomes available for eligible players in Destiny 2. Unlike similar experiences that players encounter in the Dreaming City when completing weekly bounties from Petra Benj, players cannot miss out on the Zer's invitations. Players who have fallen behind may resume progress by speaking to Zer the weekend after they complete their current invitation. From then on, progress will continue at a weekly cadence for players until they have completed all invitations. And then there's some Risk Runner and PC Bird errors investigating with a Risk Runner. Some movies of the week. And yeah. And Cosmo giving some love.
Yeah. There we go.
Nice.
Interesting TWAB.
What a charming,
So a
sweet
lot-
little TWAB.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I go through that, I'm still trying to process, like, what is it
What does it mean?
that I'm, like, really most concerned about? And it's probably Whisper for me. Well, or actually, for me, it's Orpheus and Whisper. What about for you guys? In
Yeah,
terms
the
of, like,
exotic armor I think bothers me more than anything. I
All
think
of them?
that
Yeah.
just all of it,
I gotta
because
be honest,
it was something that was really effective in PvE, didn't break PvP at all, was super fun in PvE. So I felt like for the first time they actually hit this really awesome balance of something that was very strong and very fun in PvE and didn't hurt PvP at all.
Yeah.
Now they've ruined it.
They don't like you getting your super back so quick. They're like, nah.
Put your super away.
Tether.
Work with your teammates.
Tether again. You are not being a teammate. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's
yeah,
funny.
I mean, by and large,
It's funny thinking about that comment from Bife about how he's 100% correct. It's not that Orpheus rigs that much better. It's that the other exotics just aren't that enticing. Just straight up.
Especially for PvE, they just don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Why am I going to use, even if Mechanier's trick sleeves were amazing, right? Why would I use them? I just wouldn't use them in PvE.
yeah, the perk, like, you don't really care
It's
about
just
that
not
much,
usable
right?
for PvE. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that's the thing. Like, I'm reading through some of the comments, and we've seen the tweets. Like, I haven't seen many people being like, "Awesome." There's like so much concern.
done.
Positivity.
Yeah,
Most
like,
of the people on Reddit and Twitter who are like
be
super into
fair.
any game are usually the more hardcore.
yeah. They're so clever though. One of the comments on Reddit is fixed an issue where players were enjoying the game.
Classic. Classic.
There's some pretty solid burns at
Yeah.
least that we get out of this.
Excessive
so
amounts of
bad.
fun were being had during this mission with this loadout.
Exactly. But without using it, but I don't know. I am, again, as much as people are going to hate me, I'm excited for just change, because I've been so reliant on a lot of this stuff for so long. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
know that
change.
I like it, but at least it'll get us like thinking and talking again.
Yeah.
You know, there's that aspect. Without adding a bunch of new weapons, potentially it'll get us like redoing a lot of the way we build.
I think that's part of it too. Is that it sounds like Season of the Opulence is going to add quite a bit of kit to the sandbox, which makes me excited for sure. If that stuff is getting knocked down, I'm hoping that there's going to be some other things that take place that really show up, that are exciting new exotics and legendaries that Season of the Opulence really highlights.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, maybe there'll be some really good stuff in there. I mean, Thousand Voices was obviously amazing with Last Wish.
And the FPS
Anarchy. What's
bug.
that?
And the FPS bug where it did more damage, higher FPS.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Watts' cat is on screen now.
Yeah.
What's your cat's
Cat
name again?
appearance.
This is Tobias. Bella is
Tobias.
also here, but she's not on the desk.
Okay.
Is it time for?
But yeah, meaning when
Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, when is the last time we got some new additions other than the pinnacle weapons with exotics that we really were like, dang, that was a big ad. Trying to think. Well, I guess like
Jotun's pretty good.
Shards of Galanor.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Izanagi is pretty good too, honestly.
Snuggy's pretty good.
Oh yeah, Jotun.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. Do people use Izanagi that much? It is awesome, but do people use it that much?
fun
It's
to-
quite, yeah. It's used quite a bit in Gambit, actually. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do find them using
Like-
a lot in Gambit, which makes
Yeah,
sense.
like you run it with Recluse, and that's a pretty dirty combination, and then the body shot function. Although I don't think you should use that personally, but
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
people do take advantage of that. So yeah, it is used for sure.
Yeah, but like where I was going with it was, it would be cool if Opulence had like a really cool new
Like a whisper level mission with
yeah,
an
something that we
exotic
just
changes
all
it.
wanted. Yeah, like I didn't get to talk about it on last week's show because I stupidly, when I got Outbreak Prime, I was like, sweet, got it, been there, done that, done. It was like 2 a.m. or whatever, right? So I'm like, I'm done. Didn't even try it.
Oh man.
And then like, I don't know what's wrong with it. I was so tired, man, and it was literally, I don't remember where it was in comparison to the show, but I remember I went to use it and I was like, oh my god, this gun is so good.
it's the best
I
pulse.
was like, yeah,
Really
and
good.
I regretted not using it before last week's show because I was like, this gun was totally awesome to bring back. But meaning, it's nice that we got that back. It is an old gun. Maybe we can get something new. We were talking about that
Gallahorn,
last week.
obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Hawk Awesome, Gallahorn, Icebreaker. We're good.
Easy.
Round up the set, right?
Exactly.
Should we talk about Twitter questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we do that, I would like to thank our Patreon subscribers for making our show a reality, and also for making our new podcast Side Quest reborn into a new reality.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do that without support from Patreon. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you guys. So
Yeah, so
Oh, go ahead.
that podcast is we had our first episode on Monday, and it was at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a new or it's not new, but it's new for us, weekly
It's
podcast. Yeah, we did.
we have Eric's on there. It's new.
Yeah, it's a new set. It's
He's weekly.
yeah. Briar, Eric's, myself, and Watts. We're talking all things gaming in general, podcast type of stuff on there.
All of
And it's a 1 hour show on Monday. And it was really cool to start that up. So that's happening. And it is live as well.
really
So
fun.
on this channel, twitch.tv/DCP_live, 1 p.m. Pacific time for that. So yeah,
What did you guys talk about this week?
Iceborne.
We did some Iceborne from Monster Hunter World.
Nice.
We talked about new Ghost Recon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Oh,
Said that they're
yeah.
going to have a raid, so that was interesting to talk about. And we talked about Code Vein, which is anime Dark Souls, basically.
Yeah.
You like Dark Souls, you like anime stuff? Yeah, it's great.
Nice mashup.
Sounds like a pretty good show.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the new laws that were coming into effect for loot boxes.
Yep.
There's a lot of people trying to make some new laws of making
Yeah.
loot boxes, just you can't have them in your game. Promoting gambling to babies.
Yeah. Baby's first gamble.
Baby's first gamble.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good show. So again, thank you Patreon subs for making all that happen. We are very grateful for all that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about some questions. Briar's usually the one that does this, but he's not here.
Yeah, we're gonna just pick them out of thin air, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna scroll and choose. Oh, I have one.
All right.
So this is for Benj, but also everyone can answer, but mostly for Benj. From
Okay.
Chris, what is all of your favorite moments from Gambit Prime? Do you have something that stands out to you that you remember as being a favorite moment from Gambit?
Oh, from Prime, maybe I have a clip of this on my Twitter where I invaded and immediately got taken out by a Cabal ship. Like I spawned in and it
Slammed on you.
literally straight down on me.
That's
Um,
amazing.
So that was a funny moment. What else? Maybe just playing it back in when they did the it was like 24-hour trial they did of the original Gambit back in like September. And just like playing it then and like invading for the first time and like kind of just falling in love with it. It's probably like one of the most memorable things for me.
Nice.
That's really funny. The Cabal ship. That's great.
I got
Yeah,
destroyed.
You said favorite Prime or Gambit memories?
Moment, yeah. I think
Yeah.
for me, it's not even necessarily a moment. It's just finally getting that invader full set and being able to just steal their moats is really fun. Because a lot of people play very far back, or they got very used to doing that. When someone invades, just go hide. And it's like, yeah, you can protect the moats that you're holding on you, but I can just stand there and take the rest of your moats. So that was really fun because it kind of switched up gameplay a good amount. It felt good just to stand there, and it also means that you can go over with like a Titan bubble, for example, and you can just slam that on the bank and steal everything. So it's fun.
Nice.
Nice. I don't play it enough to have like a favorite memory, unfortunately. Other than getting getting Ace of Spades and doing all that like on my own. I mean, I had some help, but I was being able to do that. That was before they changed the way that you got it, right? Like, didn't they make it easier?
Yeah, they
I
made
did
a
it
bit
when it was
easier,
still.
actually.
Yeah, I did it when it was still a little hard. So I don't know. I'm really not that good at it or PvP, but I did it, so I was still happy with that. And yes, to your earlier point, I have an elegy with I think opening shot on it, or wait, no, moving target and snapshot, and like it is. People always ask me, they're like, "What is?" See, one of the only legendary guns I have, they're like, "What is that sniper?" And you can in those situations in Gambit, getting a really good sniper is pretty rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think when the meatball first showed up and I was ready to to get it, I was initially like, whatever, guys,
I
we're
was
just
lucky.
playing, just doing a little bit of Gambit. As soon as I saw that meatball, I was like, we're killing this right now.
Yeah.
All hands on deck. This has to die.
Were you waiting for it forever? Oh, sorry.
I kind of like lost hope. I was like, I'm not seeing this thing, whatever. Yeah.
Exact same for me. I lost hope to the point where when it showed up, I didn't realize it was the meatball for quite a while. And then I realized and I was like, oh God, we got to kill it, guys. Don't let me down. Pull the pants up.
I remember being desperate for the meatball to spawn because I played a lot. Because I played so much Gambit, I had all the like the dredging title stuff. I had it all completed, apart from like getting the malfeasance. And it was at the time when you had to kill the meatball to get the malfeasance quest to drop.
Yeah.
So then I was like waiting forever for a meatball to spawn, and then I think the first one I ever got I didn't kill because I wasn't playing like with a full team. So it just like took forever, but then it was like really rewarding when I did eventually get it, and then I was able to get the title.
Yeah, that's the way it was for me. Like I had to kill the thing to get the quest to drop, and I had just kind of given up, and then finally it happened. And I was like, kill it right now.
It's funny because now it's like it spawns so much that when it spawns, I'm annoyed that it's the meatball because it takes a little bit longer to kill because of the way the DPS works on it.
Yeah.
So I prefer not to have the meatball now. But just the
Makes
way
cool
it goes.
noises.
Exactly. I had a quick question. Today, if you caught, there was that partnership between Sony and Microsoft regarding cloud gaming. I'm sure will be a discussion on DCP side quests, which you can catch every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Right?
Smooth.
Yeah.
This comes in from K Brash at Brash Gentleman. Does the announced partnership between Sony and Microsoft mean we are closer to them allowing crossplay on their platforms, probably specifically Destiny? Do we think that is a possibility? If you didn't catch the news, they just announced in general that they have Microsoft's Azure cloud platform, and Sony is going to partner with them to use it for gaming and other stuff.
And Sony replied to that tweet with a handshake emoji.
Did
Yeah,
they?
they did.
No, they did.
They did.
What? It's happening.
So I think it's baby steps, and this is like the crack of the door to step in to start having discussions. Because I have a feeling with games like Destiny 2, that it's probably in the contract of their platform with PlayStation, Xbox, and all that. They probably already have this stuff locked into a contract with how their data is organized and how it's shared. So I have a feeling it's something that is, again, baby steps towards the future that potentially could be Destiny 3.
I'm going to say yes. This means cross save's on the way. Prepare your platforms.
Coming out in June.
Because you're going to be
June
able to
4th,
play
cross
everywhere.
save.
No, maybe not.
That's the important distinction. Is K-Brash asked about cross play? I'm more with you guys. Cross save sounds like a bigger possibility. Cross
Sounds
play.
doable. Crossplay
Xbox.
seems like it might be a little further out than cross save. Cross save seems like a thing that like Destiny could already do, right? If they were given the go ahead, because everything your character is on a cloud, it's not on your console.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Dim can pretty much practically do it. So.
right.
Yeah, I think the fact that they're just working together is a good sign. I mean, above all, it means for me that when they make Destiny 3, that Stadia's on this Google platform with all these features and yet to be figured out, right? Now you got Xbox coming in with Azure. Phil, the way they say it, it's Azure, but they say Azure, which is just how it is.
Because I would have said Azure.
I would have too, and I've listened to Phil Spencer and everyone else say Azure. Pretty sure I got it
Azure
right.
Raffles.
But anyway,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I would look at that and be like, man, that's going to be like, how are you going to make Destiny for, say, Xbox and then the Stadia thing? And then now you got PlayStation, Gaikai now, whatever. So a little worrisome on the cloud level. Like, obviously, per platform, you always have to customize. But the closer that you get, the better, meaning hopefully they're making for 2 cloud ecosystems. And maybe it does translate to stuff like this, like saves and just the general, just think if the online structure becomes a little more at parity for 2 of the biggest gaming platforms, that's potentially really good news.
Yeah, I would love it.
I can't say anything bad about them being like, hey, let's work together on some stuff.
They shook hands. This is
They
nuts.
shook hands and they responded with a shake hands emoji.
They're
Binding
social
agreement.
buddies. Come on.
What else we got?
Go for it.
You have one? Oh, I have one. So this is it's Kev G, and he says this is more of a request than a question for Benj. If / when you invade and kill Polar in the final on Saturday, give her a teabag for me.
Oh, Kev, I will definitely give her a teabag. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry. She'll be getting all the bags if I kill her. When I kill her on Saturday. Don't you worry.
I got a question from Ghost. It says, hey guys, do you think a buff to player movement speed, ability regen, more akin to D1, would be a creative way to help offset the coming weapon nerfs and preserve the power fantasy in PvE? How do you think Bungie can empower us players without introducing power creep?
I thought about this. I actually would really like to see more subclass change, the things that you can select in your subclass, and exotics that affect your movement. So like you think of the policeman Titan chest.
Garrison. Yeah.
That was just really fun. It was super fun. It made you feel powerful because you could do like a Garrison shoulder charge Garrison. You could fly around everywhere, and that made you feel powerful. But that clearly doesn't break any PvE encounters.
Bones of
You don't
Ale.
have to account for it. Bones of Ale.
Ale.
Anything that empowers your movement, I think is something that they should really focus on, because that's something that's fun, makes you feel good, and it doesn't really affect anything in the sandbox. Really.
Need more things like Stompies along those kind of lines.
Really?
Yeah. Like
Do you use
Stompies are
Stompies
really
on
fun
PvP?
to use. I not anymore. I used to run like mainly Stompies. Now I run Dragon Shadow. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Like Dragon Shadow, the dodge gives you a buff to your
Is that
movement speed
double?
and your handling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that feels amazing. Like that little dodge. like you want that dodge as much as possible because the movement feels so good after you dodge. So like anything movement based, I think is just a good thing. Just feels good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, like carte blanche and giving us more speed because that's so touchy. But yeah, maybe like some exotics perks or whatever that help with that. But I was very adverse to Titan charging back in the old days. Very against it.
That
'cause I
Twilight Garrison was so
Titan
nice,
charged.
though.
It was cool. But I was getting that plus like a 90-degree turn in midair.
Yeah.
Shoulder charging, man.
You remember when it first
But,
came out? It was like 2 dodges. It was like dodge, and then shoulder charge, and then you could like dodge
Yeah.
again. And then
They're so fast.
It's crazy.
You just see them
They were the
chasing
worst
after you,
in
and you're like,
trials.
oh god.
They were the worst in trials. That's what would happen. It'd be someone with a shotgun, like just chasing me as a Titan, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do
It
right
did
now.
give a bigger skill gap though, which was cool. When you saw someone who was really good
Yeah.
with any movement exotic, it was really fun to watch them.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned stompies. I think I remember people would do that with shotguns, right? They just had that really like high second jump, and they like do it above doors and stuff, and just completely
bait
destroy
people in.
people with shotguns.
Especially on console, because controllers can't react as fast.
field
as
of
someone
view
just
is
jumping
tighter.
above
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, in the field of view. Yeah, so especially on console, all you see is Luna, Dust Rock, Warcliffe Coil, Stompy, Hunters. That's the only thing
Yeah.
you see.
Maybe something there.
I do think they could do things though to our abilities, and movement speed, like you said, is a tough one. But like, imagine if there was some way to equip 2 separate grenades or 2 separate melee charge type of things. I don't know. I feel like there's things that they could do to expand the fun side, but not necessarily make the power creep expand. Because, like I said, it's fundamentally an issue of just a DPS problem. The puzzle is how fast can you do DPS on this particular boss right now? And I think that the design choices have to move away from just sheer DPS on something and move more towards, I don't know, some mechanic-oriented type of thing in the arena.
Yeah. I had a quick question that came from Sparty for you. Whisper was introduced when we had double primaries and power weapons were supposed to be very strong. Now that we have special weapons back along with power, doesn't this move make sense regarding the Whisper changes? Seems to be saying now that there's more special, weapons that are more effective.
None of it makes sense.
I mean, I think the overall point I get, yeah, when we were rocking like an SMG and a freaking hand cannon with, maybe Acreus or back then, it was like, okay, like your heavy was kind of your exotic slot a lot of the time. And now things have changed a little bit. There are some.
It's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I think the problem is I don't know if there's any like OP, like what special. Like I'm trying to. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if there's some really good exotic, energy slot weapons, and there are, maybe it offsets the need to always be going to Whisper or whatever. But sounds like we're indeterminate on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Arbalist is very good, by the way. It's very good against shields, actually. Like you can take out any shields with it, and it feels really powerful against shields. Which was that was a gun that I was using during the 0 hour because
So I heard it was really good for that.
So many different shields, and you could just shoot it with Arbalist, and it destroyed it really quickly. So that was nice.
Yeah, it was nice to use something different, right?
Yeah.
So something there. Not that I'm excited about the change. What else?
I have one from Labashidaz. I hope I said that right. Probably not. Saw you giving encouragement to a marathon runner a few weeks ago. This week I unplugged my PS4 to try and focus more on my work. No Destiny until September.
Wow.
I'm running a sort of marathon on my own now because I have 3 months to finish my PhD thesis. Any words of encouragement?
Get off Twitter.
One does not simply
Benj.
get off Twitter.
You're in uni right now, Benj, right?
I am.
What's
I'm
your
about to
advice?
graduate. Yeah.
What's
How
your
did you do
advice?
it?
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. It's been a
Being a
pretty
hunter
crazy
first,
3
right?
years. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Being a front hunter is what
Yep.
got me through uni. That's all there is to it.
Sound advice.
I mean, you can. I probably played too much video games while I've been at uni. Like, not quite balanced it as well as I should have done with the uni work. But
Or
you know,
sleep.
no, exactly. But who needs sleep? But yeah, no,
Every
you can.
human actually, but
Nah. You can make it work. Uni. I suppose it depends how much you're in uni as well. I was in a lucky position to not have a huge amount of contact hours, so I could balance it quite well. But
Balance.
my
Right?
yeah.
balance.
My
balance.
my words of encouragement were actually going to be like, look, you've already made the right choice. You've committed to it. You clearly need to stick with it. Which otherwise, why would you ask us unless you're worried about a relapse? Like, I think that's the question: is how do I avoid going back? But what I would say is like, look, like the seasonal content is great and all, but they've done a really good job that you can catch up, to the power level a lot faster than you used to be able to, like overall. And I think you'll be able to finish your work, and when hopefully if there's a September release or early October release or whatever, you'll be fine. So just wait for that, and I don't think you're going to miss out on that much. Plus, your PhD will last you a lifetime. I don't know that Season of the Opulence, as fun as it may be, will last you a lifetime.
Plus, everything's getting nerfed. You don't need to come back. It's fine.
True.
Wait for
True.
September.
The ultimate mic drop.
I'm going to say
Okay.
also that we better get a follow up in a few weeks to make sure
Yes.
still on track.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to make sure you're still on track.
Focused on the PhD. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But you should watch this show or listen to stay updated.
Yeah. While you're
Your
doing
only
PhD
dose of
stuff.
destiny.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
What
one from
else?
Clickfire. Says, if Savathun walked into a bar, would you A, scream Kamahaba
Kamehameha or whatever.
while
yeah.
throwing a Nova Bomb?
Please say it enthusiastically. Tefty.
I don't Kamehameha. I don't know how
That
to
is
pronounce
the
that.
new Watts on Anime intro.
Nailed it.
B, offer her a peanut butter, banana, and mayo sandwich. God.
Right.
Yeah, I know. What?
Oh, we have history with that, Fran. Just be
Okay.
thankful. Be thankful that it's a
Right.
big question mark. C, use Holtz as a human shield while you pull out 1,000 voices. D, offer Briar as a peace offering meal as you dine together.
Oh.
That's quite a wide variety of choices.
There is a selection.
So basically, do we kill her with a super? Do we feed her something gross?
Kill her with a sandwich.
Do we do we distract her with Holtz? Is that the
I think.
I want to address the
I
whole
think
thing.
Briar.
There's no way, as a human shield, that he will provide you any cover whatsoever. He will melt so fast.
That's just being factual right there. And obviously, Briar's delicious. Of course, you're going to make peace by offering up a delicious slice of Briar and dining
It's the
together
only
with
way to save the
Savathun.
world. Yeah, it's the only way.
I was going to say D, actually. I'm
Yeah.
normally not, piling on to the whole Briar, eat Briar thing, but
But you're
This is
coming.
the obvious.
Yeah, you're changing your ways. You're seeing the light.
Yeah. Plus, you'll explain to me another time this whole peanut butter banana mayo sandwich thing is just disgusting.
Apparently, it's a thing, man, in the South.
No, it's not.
Yes. We
What
found
do you
out
mean in the South?
Goose
What?
said, guys, I got to go. He does dim. He writes, does code.
Oh, yeah,
for
I know
dim.
Goose,
Yeah,
yeah.
he said,
Goose eats this?
he said his wife just made him a peanut butter, banana, and mayo sandwich. He had to go. And we were like, what?
Well,
Oh,
hold
what
on.
now?
Pump the
Wait,
Is a
brakes.
thing. I just Googled it to see. It's called the Forgotten
worst.
Southern Sandwich. I wonder why.
No wonder it
Should
was
have
forgotten.
forgotten.
Throw a
Okay.
crawdad on
Random
there and
Wins
you're
in
good.
chat also says that this is the unfortunate truth.
What is?
That
The
sandwich.
sandwich?
Yeah.
The existence of
Okay.
that sandwich.
You know what? I would eat it if you just put a little thin slice of Briar on there. Just a little something smoky and
Prosciutto Briar.
delicious. Yeah. Just a little slice of Briar on there.
That's great.
Oh, man.
I
See?
have a
Now we're
question
interested.
Yeah.
from Wayne. And this is for Benj as well. The DCP crew are actually the Ninja Turtles. Which crew member is which Ninja Turtle and why?
Oh. I need to remember which Ninja Turtles.
Leonardo, Raphael,
Leonardo,
Donatello,
Raph-
Michelangelo.
And the
You
pizza
should name-
delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Should
I'm
name their
looking for it.
weapons, right?
And Splinter.
I don't know if this helps, but nunchucks were just made legal in Arizona.
Michelangelo,
Okay.
nunchucks.
I don't live in Arizona, but
You got
No.
Donatello.
Wait, does anyone live in Arizona?
Donatello is the bow staff.
That's
it
what I was going to
was
say,
useless
Stealth.
information.
Leonardo
Yeah.
is the
Donatello's
sword, the
bow.
katana.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Raphael is the size.
Yep. And Michelangelo, the nunchucks.
Yeah, nunchucks.
And Splinter.
So Briar is normally, here. So.
Briar Splinter. No,
Briar Splinter.
yeah, nobody. Wait, did you want to take Splinter?
No, I didn't want to say Splinter.
Nobody wants to be Splinter, obviously.
All right, we'll give Briar Splinter. then.
Yeah. I want to be Leonardo since I started the show. I
You
started-
wanna be Leonardo.
I lead it
Have
off
to
the
say,
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you can have Leonardo. Who wants Raphael?
Wait, who's the pushiest leader type of them? Is that Michelangelo?
The pushiest?
I thought that was.
Or is that Leonardo?
Leonardo's
Well,
the leader,
Leonardo's
but he's
like
not
the
pushy.
leader.
It's like Michelangelo and Donatello are kind of like pushy. Well, actually, they all kind of are pushy.
I don't remember. It's been a while. I did watch the cartoons when I was younger. That was the extent of it. I was just gonna say Donatello because isn't it? I mean, his name's Italian, so I just
Donatello.
think it's Italian.
I'm a
Isn't
big fan of Psy,
Fran Italian? And actually, I was gonna say Watts should be Raphael.
There we
I don't know
go.
why. Could be the red headphone frame, but like I was like,
Yeah,
I see it.
Perfect.
got
There we
branding
go.
on point. There we go.
So we've got
meant to be.
Donatello, Teft is Leonardo, Watts is Raphael.
Briar's Splinter.
Yes.
What we got left?
Briar's
means
the
that-
pizza that gets delivered to us.
He's the pizza. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's great.
Well, you can be Michelangelo this week then, Benj.
Oh, thank
Yep.
you. What about Pope? Does Pope get one?
Pope
He's
is
April
April
O'Neil.
Potter, or yeah.
Oh
O'Neil.
wait, April. Wait,
It's the
who is
O'Neil.
it?
My
Is
bad.
it-
Yeah.
Did I get it right? I'm surprised.
No, it's O'Neil. That's right.
that's-
Yeah,
It is okay. It's funny. I used to watch like a lot the cartoons
'Cause
but
he's
I'm
delivering
surprised I
Briar.
remember that.
or she picked up pizza to bring down to the turtles.
Yeah. All right. What else?
So another
Do we have
topic
any
on
other good
chefing and all that. Zachary Richard, Sir Redbeard.
chefing.
He says, would you guys hire a chef for DCP? Just think about the possibilities. 5-star Michelin restaurant, quality food at your fingertips. What do you guys say?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's sort of a trick question because why wouldn't you if there's no
Do I
constraint?
have to pay them?
Yeah, exactly.
What if
No,
their
Pope does.
specialty? What if the specialty is banana, mayo, peanut butter sandwiches?
With a thin slice of bread. Just-
Right.
of course you would, but I think maybe the real question is: you allow them to be on the show? Maybe they don't know that much about Destiny, but they're an amazing chef.
So they're making food while we're doing a podcast?
That's the question.
Food's
what
up.
do they do? You hired them. You better make use of them
Okay.
because they can't feed us. We're not in the same location.
They have to be the cat chef on Monster Hunter. We'd hire that one.
Yeah.
That
The
I'm down for.
If
muscular
we can have
chef.
cats that cook for us, I'm totally down for that.
That's the right answer. I like it.
I have a question from Cornholio, who says, I have to get Army of One medals for my Dredgen title. I need all the advice I can get. Any advice
Wow.
for Army of One medals?
Um.
Besides
I
get
think-
good.
Yeah.
It's not-
Get good.
Oh yeah. Just click heads. No. I think if you just go in, like, if you just want to get it over and done with it, easy as possible, you just run things like heavy machine guns, like your hammerhead, your thunderlord. Super wise, I'd go 6-shot Goldie or Dawn Blaze, really good. And then I'd run probably a Pulse, just because of the range they have in your primary slot, and then maybe like a Jotun or just something like that. Basically, just like a really unforgiving, quite straightforward setup that, like,
Okay.
where you're not gonna require.
So let's say you got all
Too
that. You got all that.
Yeah.
How you went through the portal. How do you prep it to get the 4 stack kill? Because you know, do you first person you see, you go for it, or do you kind of like try to angle your shots so you kind of feel like they're not sure where you're at? Like how would you approach that if you're specifically trying to get all 4 of them?
If you're specifically, if you're just so if you're just trying to get all 4 and you're not worried about like moats or anything like that, you're just prioritizing what's in your line of sight. So say there's like someone has 15 moats, but they're like miles away. You just completely ignore them. And what I'd say is try and kill 2 or 3 as quickly as possible, and then wait for them to spawn up, and then just kill them off spawn.
Oh,
Yeah, like that would be the most effective way because
because the other person's probably
if you
hiding
start-
with 15.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gone.
exactly.
The 15
Yeah,
mil
he's
guy,
gone.
he's out of there.
he's gone. So if you start chasing him down, like you've only got 30 seconds, so you're just not going to have enough time. And even if you do get to him and kill him, you're then not going to have enough time to spin around and then get maybe the 4th because he might only be the 2nd or 3rd guy.
Right.
If they're all spread out, then you kind of just gotta do what you can. But most of the time, you know, if they're all on the bank, then you can kill 2 or 3.
It's interesting, kind of like going for an actual spawn trap. Like get 2 of them killed right away, and then immediately go for the spawn.
Yeah, because you know they all spawn in the same place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty easy. It's very easy to pick them off when they're in that spawn. So yeah, I'd say
Is
that's
there
probably the
a-
most effective way.
Is there a time in the match that you think is the most optimal time to go through? Like, do you base it on how many motes they're holding, or if you send over a big blocker?
In Prime, it's just all about that first invade.
Right.
Like literally, like it's the most important thing by far. So like when we're playing in the tournaments, like that first 25 makes or breaks the game completely.
Mm.
So when we're playing, we after the first wave, if we have 25, we bank straight away. If we don't, we go to the second wave, and then as soon as we hit 25 on the bar, everyone spins around, runs to the bank, and runs to the bank, and puts the moats in, because you want to be either invading first and like taking them on when they've got the
Right.
moats, or invading when they've banked first, and then you drain them and invade at the same time, and then you can like completely clear them out. So basically, either way, if you get that first invade right, you completely clear them out of any moats that they got. That then gives you a massive, massive advantage. And by the time they've got to the first 25 again, you're already at your 50 and so on.
Right.
So they just can't make the comeback. And then the invades after that first one, it doesn't matter. I'd just go in straight away and just do what you can. Maybe a bit different on the primeval, especially with like the delays now, how long you get between each portal. So like what some people do is they wait, like because they know how quick people can melt the primeval now. So like, say you know the other team's on like a ×2 melt, you'll wait till they start doing damage before you invade, because if you invade as soon as the portal opens up, they might have saved that 3rd wizard, and then they'll kill you and then kill the wizard and then just melt the boss. So what people do is they wait till you start actually doing damage. But yeah, so most of the time you're just going in straight away. But yeah, the first invade and the primeval is the only exceptions, I'd say.
Cool. That was
Great advice.
some good tips.
Juicy.
Everybody's
So
gonna
if
know
you
your
can't get
secrets
if
going
you
in.
can't get that medal now, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You default to getting good.
If in doubt, get good.
Yep.
Uh,
What do we got? Like time for
Do
any
you want to
more?
do
or-
one more question?
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. I have one from Ringo the Dingo. You have
Perfect.
Taco Bell Tuesdays and Ferrari Fridays. What's the other days of the week?
That was the one I was looking at too. That's a good question. I don't know what day it is, but it's got to be a burrito. I know it kind of doubles down on Taco Bell, but like
No.
that's not that's not your standard good
Okay,
burrito.
we
So I need
definitely have
burrito
TWAB
day.
and Thursdays
what? What is this?
because of the TWAB.
Dobbin Thursdays, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. What's the food? Aren't they all
Okay, we
food-based,
need
or am I
to make
misunderstanding?
sure that we get Fran in
No,
on
you
all
see,
the
Ferrari
jokes.
Fridays.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking only of food. I don't know why. I think it's
because you're hungry.
Dinner.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, taking a step back. So we got reading the TWAB on Thursdays. That's our Thursday.
Thwobbing.
I mean, I
That's
like
the way
the
to spend
alliteration.
it.
I just think we could use,
A little more imagination.
Thick.
Yeah.
We're thick. Many.
but it's got to be an alliteration. I get it. Let's see.
I like burritos.
we've got-
so burrito.
But there's no B. There's no burrito B
No
day
B.
though. We got to go with Water Park Wednesdays.
Okay.
I like water park.
Meetup Mondays.
I haven't been
good.
in forever.
We could do meetup Mondays and have water park Wednesdays.
I like Water Park Wednesdays because I never go. Get some sun, get some water, wet and wild times.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
to continue with the water, we could have Super Soaker Saturdays.
Okay. We're just gonna
What
be
are
in
you doing on
swimsuits
Sunday?
for half of the week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to steal Dinosaurus's suggestion from Monday as Bubble Tether Murder Mondays.
Oh, that is
What?
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That was
missed
one of my
Saturday.
favorite times in Destiny. That was great.
Yeah.
Bubble Tether Murder was amazing.
But we need Saturday still. What about this is a question we should have asked at the beginning of the show when our brains were still
And then-
working
and all-
instead of 2 hours later.
Nah, that's what Briar does all the time. Heath, like, he'll come up with or he'll look at the questions, and he'll get answers for himself, and then be like,
Oh yeah.
all right, now you guys come up with something.
Yeah,
So if
he
you had
already
to
knows
create
what
a
it is.
Destiny Avengers crossover, which characters would be which Avenger, and give reasons for each
Yeah,
one? And he's
do an
like, I
in-depth
got
analysis.
this. And we're like,
Let's see what like Water Park Wednesday sounds fun. At least we go out, we have a good time. Ferrari Fridays,
Yeah.
obviously.
We're rolling.
What else do we
Fridays.
need on a Saturday? Sangria.
Sangria Saturdays.
Sangria sounds good.
I don't know. It's all
Quite the
food. Yeah, that's quite the week we've had.
It sounds like a good
We'll
week.
have to come
I
back
like
to
it.
Somebody in chat said, "Stop nerfing Saturday." Not bad. Okay.
I think that's the show, isn't it?
I think we're out
Wow.
of creative ideas.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Almost 2 hours.
No, it is 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour show. Good job, guys.
Well done.
Good job.
Good job. So
we know Briar was the problem.
Briar, you know,
And Holtz.
they're just they like to talk about crawfish all the time. It's unbelievable.
Somebody said sleeping Saturdays. Yes. I'm going to go for
That's a
that
good
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
dig
like that one.
sleeping.
That's pretty great.
Thank you, Lord Moriar.
All right, guys, that is the show. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter or catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for Miss 5000 Watts.
I'm Fran Mirabella, aka FM3 _ on Twitch. You can find me there, support me there if you like me on the show. I'm also just Fran Mirabella on Twitter. Benj.
I'm Benj, and you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Benji. That's spelled with 3 J's and 2 Y's. And yeah.
What time do you stream, Benji?
So at the
If you
minute,
do.
yeah. So I'd say when I get into it again, it'll probably be starting at 10 a.m. for BST, and then go in for however many hours, and then probably another stream at 7, 8 p.m. BST in the evening. I think that's the plan.
Still, the times just work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
all day.
much. Yeah. I will be when uni's finished, which is like end of this month. I'll be
Coming on up.
like
Yeah.
a lot of streams.
You're going to be playing Season of
good
Opulence?
luck on Saturday, too.
Yeah, good luck on Saturday.
Well,
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
man. Yeah. Everybody be sure to check him out.
I want to watch, too.
Sounds like it's going to be
this
fun.
is,
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it sounds like an exciting time.
Yeah,
I
it'd be good.
love watching Gambit tournaments. I think they're super fun.
Yep. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That's our show. We will see you next week. If Pope was here, he'd read off a list of things that are coming down the road. I don't have that list in front of me, and I'm not nearly as professional as Pope. So
There'll be podcasts. There's one on Monday
Wait.
and one on Thursday.
Wait a second. I do have
We have
the.
guests.
wait, Fran, are you professional?
No, but yes, maybe. But I have the tweeted schedule at least. So next week it's supposed to be Nem Plays, Creature of the Hive Planet Destiny podcast host and content creator. Nem is going to be here, and then Aztec Cross will be on after that. Then after Season of the Opulence launches, Glad will be on.
There we go.
We got E3 coming up, then Frostbolt's going to be on, and then Datto. That brings us through June 20th.
Awesome. Well, there it is. That is the official lineup coming on up. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Again, thanks for all the support. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for commenting on YouTube and all the stuff and listening in your car and your drives and all that. We do greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Boy.
Bye.